Guess who's back? Back again. Tardis on. Back, my friends. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tardis Zone. And this is the Tardis Zone Talks. Before we get started into all of the nitty gritty, I do have a super chat to read out that we got. So Garbage was the very first person when we got monetized to send us a super chat, and we were very grateful for that. And of course, we've been obviously on a bit of a hiatus thanks to an unjust copyright strike, which YouTube, after me counter notification, we obviously beat the copyright strike. And when we came back, I did a pre-record, and we got a super chat during the pre-record. So I'm going to read the super chat that we got off Garbage. So Garbage wasn't, not only is the first person to give us a super chat when we first got the stream monetized, he is also the first person to give us a super chat when the channel came back after the unjust copyright strike. So I want to read the super chat, and it's a £5 super chat. It says, "Welcome back, mate. I did your first super chat ever. Let me be the first to welcome you back with another super chat." So I want to thank you very much for that, Garbage. I really do appreciate it. And I am happy to be back. Listen, the whole nonsense was ridiculous. It should never have happened in the first place. And, the usual response obviously happened last night when they found out, obviously, the decision had been made. They went on a blocking spree. They accused me of pestering them, even though I retweeted the tweet on the second account that I have for the Irish Geek. I just retweeted their tweet where they were bragging, saying that YouTube took their side. And then I put the screenshot of my tweet where I said, where YouTube came back and told me I'd won me counter notification, and all I wrote was, "No, they didn't. They took my side." And he accused me then and tried to get me blocked on Twitter by saying that accounts that are pestering me after I blocked them should be suspended. So again, the ridiculousness of this person. They couldn't take the fact that I was critical about a news article. And we're getting into a dangerous situation. But look, as I said yesterday when I was talking privately to a couple of friends, the one thing that this does is now, for other YouTubers that are out there that do read newspaper articles, and you do give us our commentary, and you do whether you are positive or negative about the article, you are free to do so. These journalists don't realize once they put their work out there anyway, right? Most journalists anyway don't mind when a YouTuber reads the article because it does bring clicks to their channel. Now, they might have had a problem with the first video, right? I took it down. They tried to claim that this is what their response was to YouTube anyway, and they didn't buy it. He tried to circumvent the first copyright strike. No, I didn't, because I took down the video before you gave a copyright strike, you see. But you deliberately went in and copyright strike a stream because, again, I read each paragraph one by one, but in between each paragraph, I gave commentary. I linked the article to the link description, and I did everything that I was asked to do, and YouTube backed me up. And now this person, right, and I don't care really, but this person now has gone on a blocking spree, has blocked people that they haven't even interacted with. So it looks like they've gone through my whole friends list or something, or what they've done is they've gone through where they've been mentioned in context text to what they've done to me, and are blocking everybody to save themselves from the embarrassment. As I said, if you're going to be writing, if you journalists, and they're not journalists, by the way, they're hacks, right? So they were going around calling me and calling us people that read out articles. They were saying we were talentless hacks. Well, sorry, the only talentless hacks I see are you guys. You couldn't take criticism for your article, and now you're going on a blocking spree because you're a weak-minded individual. And, I don't like weak-minded individuals. I told you not to brag. Told you YouTube was going to take my side. And it wasn't because I was cocky or at him, folks, right? I knew I was in the right this time, right? I didn't do anything wrong. Yes, the first video they had issue with, and I took it down. And you know, if I make a mistake or I'm asked to do something, I'll do it. I took it down, right, out of good faith, because the journalist that originally wrote the article said they take down the tweets that were telling people that I was sending a hate mob to them, right? So I said, right, out of good faith, I'll take down the video, right? So I've lost, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks now to try get this channel. As I said, everything is down on the channel, views, the whole lot. But we'll get that back up, But I will say it's a relief, because it proves now that YouTube don't deem it copyright theft. It's a public, once they print the article and it's publicized, right? Now, as I said, they had a problem with the first video, but once I did everything they asked me to do for the second one, right? I did everything they asked, right? Then link the article. You're not stealing their work. By the way, you're adding critical commentary or positive commentary or comedic commentary. I had people like Lee doing research for me, finding this information out for me, and actually show me that the copyright strike that I received was a load of horseshit. So, look, it's done now anyway. But I hope other YouTubers out there now, this still should be covered though, right? Me and Lee and others were talking about this behind the scenes. I think it was a few days back, or we were talking. I don't know how it came about, but we were talking. It is really important that other people highlight what happened here with this situation, because it could happen to another YouTuber. Now, I've been told by someone on my Twitter account that it's happening to another YouTuber out there. Random Mecha apparently is being shadow banned. But the bigger YouTubers seem to have problems like that all the time. But when they start going after the smaller YouTubers as well, this is where it becomes a problem. But I think this does need to be highlighted, to be quite honest with you, because this could happen again to someone else, or it could happen to me again, because, these journalists are starting to become smug. They think they can, because, they don't like someone's opinion, that they could put false copyright strikes on people's channels and mess them up. And listen, I knew they weren't going to. The 10 days were up, right? And they didn't prove that they were going, because they were never going to bring me to court, right? It was just to hurt the channel, and that's it. But we're back now, and I'm not going to talk about it anymore, because, we're back. This is, I want to bring a few of you on anyway. So, because it's the Tardis talks, but I want to read out these couple of super chats that we've received. Alpha Omega with a $40 super chat says, been waiting a while since all the BS went down to send a super chat. Glad you are back here. Thank you very much. Listen, Alpha, I'm glad I'm back on this channel, but I'm glad I got the opportunity to build up the Irish Geek, and it's going very well, and I'm loving the streams on that as well. So if you haven't subscribed to the Irish Geek, please do. We really do appreciate it. We're going to keep both channels going. And you know what? I said 2021. Look at 2021 actually did start off well for myself and Cheryl. And then I think within the first couple of weeks, then it went to crap. But it started off well. But it did give me the opportunity to get the other channel going, and I feel like you know, it's given me a new sense of belief as well that we can yeah, okay. I hate the way you write, Cheryl. I can't understand your writing. Oh, but I understood something about poopy bum. Okay, he did an accident. All right, Ted had an accident outside. That's all you had to say. You could have just said it. It's all right. Everybody knows what Ted's like. He's a baby.
It's Chimkin.
Yeah, okay.
It's your fault.
It's still my fault. Everything is always my fault when the dog has one of those.
Go watch last episode, Flight Attendant.
You go ahead. You go ahead, love. I'll talk to you soon. Right, I want to read. We got a super chat from Kip Ellis. I'm assuming it's a unicorn. 149 super chat. He says he's been dying to give us a unicorn, so I'm pretty sure it is a unicorn. But welcome everybody, and it is good to be back. Do us a favor and like the stream. We already have our mandatory 2 dislikes. They've also followed us on the Irish Geek as well, the bunch of sad individuals. But again, they all count. So if you want to like, share, and subscribe there, please do. Hold on, I might have to refresh here because we've just gone all pausey. Hold on. Now we're back. Sorry about that. Just it was acting a bit funny there. So hopefully now I can do that. Right. So I'm about to put the link in the chat. So if you want to come on, obviously it's Doctor Who related. It's the Tardis talks. Obviously there has been plenty of stuff going on, but we just haven't been able to talk about it. So and obviously I put out some news as well. But if there is anything in particular you want to talk about, the link is in the chat now. Please come on. If Lee obviously will be in, I'm sure Lee is going to pop in and be in the private chat. So that's if we get a lot of people, because I know we're only back, so it's going to take us a while to build up. So the Tardis talks is going to be every Wednesday and Friday. So you'll have 2 Tardis talks, Wednesday and Friday. I think it's better to have the 2 than have the 1, because trust me, from Wednesday to Friday something always happens anyway. So the link is in the chat there. So if you just want to come on, please do so. I know some people have to leave at 10. So if you want to come on, there she is. I knew she'd come on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring Charlotte on straight away, because I know she's only got 15 minutes. So we'll give her the 15 minutes. And then if the rest of you want to come in, you can. So we'll welcome Charlotte onto the stream.
Hello, am I working?
There you go. You are working. Yeah, we have your picture there, your little avatar as well. How are you?
Good.
Good. Now, what would you like to talk about? I know it's been a while, so there's probably loads you want to. I put the link in the chat. Lee. Should be there. It's in the chat.
I got it from the chat, so it should be there.
It's there. I'll put it in again. Look, I'm putting it in right under your comment now. There you go.
From all the rumor stuff that is floating is the Joe Martin stuff, which I found quite interesting. You talked about.
Yeah.
And it's this, when all the a few people were saying, "Oh, she's going to be 14. She's going to be 14," and obviously nothing's confirmed yet, and we don't know.
Yeah.
But I just had this gut. I was like, I don't think she is, because we've already seen her. So if they were going to go with her next, they're basically robbing themselves of a brand new face, of a
Yeah.
brand new star, even if Chib stays. And if there's something the BBC desperately need with this show, it's enough of a big splash to get the normies back, to
Yeah.
get like that casual audience looking again. And I was just thinking, I've been thinking this for ages. Going with her, it's not going to do that, because they've done a lot of already press around her as soon as she dropped in Fugitive.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, I don't. Joe probably took the part, and as soon as she understood what it was, she was probably beaming because she's a fan and she comes across brilliant in interviews. But Chibnall, we know what he's like. We know what the BBC are like, and a big part of her being a doctor is because of physical attributes. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And it's because they wanted that splash to say, look, we've got another first. We've got another token. We've got another thing we can boast to the press about how diverse and brilliant we are.
Mm.
So I was like, they've already had the splash, they've had the media offer. I don't see her being 14 just for those like more not creative reasons, but just press reasons and attention reasons.
Yeah, I honestly, after I listen, if it was the case that Chibnall originally did want her to be the 14th, and he's being told now that no, that's not the case. You have to revert back to what worked before. Yeah, yeah, no, I agree with you. I think we're gone past the stage now of, yeah, I don't think another, whether people like this or not, I don't think another female doctor is going to rescue this show. I do
No,
think
and
they need,
that's the problem. It's now in rescue stage. He
yeah,
probably did have plans before it got to this stage.
mm,
And like, I wouldn't be surprised, because you mentioned HBO in your stream. I
yeah,
wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't just a load of like outside forces all coming together
yeah,
and forcing the hand of a male doctor at this point.
yeah,
Like HBO, because you remember that poster they did where it was all
yeah,
the male doctors and Jodie was nowhere to be seen.
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if the licensees have had absolutely enough at this point, and they all got together, or some of the bigger ones got together and just sort of said to the BBC, we need a male doctor.
yeah.
And maybe, like, I was thinking of this, maybe HBO, because there's a bit of some people are saying they're not going to pay anymore, and there's like different things floating about that issue. Do you think maybe they said to the BBC, you're only getting any more money out of us if it's a male doctor?
I wouldn't be surprised, because I think BBC are a weakened position. If you look at it, the rating, look at again, you see to seem this. There seems to be a flurry lately of spin videos about the ratings. It doesn't matter how much these people spin the ratings, right? BBC even know themselves. Listen, we even reported on it last year. The BBC know that the ratings are a problem, right? And it doesn't matter if they're coming out with statements and saying that it's editorially good and safe for the future and all of this crap, right? Doesn't matter. Look at, you're right, Charlotte. I mean, when they start selling Doctor Who, and they went to HBO, and HBO are willing to throw this money at them, they put themselves they probably didn't know at the time, but they put themselves in a very awkward position, because in this weakened state now, I do honestly firmly believe that HBO Max is actually having a say about what's going on. And I honestly do believe that the original plan of Chris Chibnall was to double down with the female doctor. I do believe he was going to go with
Yeah, I am
an
saying.
doctor.
I think he wanted
And I
that.
think Joe Martin was his choice. I think that's why he introduced her in the first place. I really do. But I think he's being told now that sorry, it's not working. Listen, look at the numbers. The numbers don't justify this. You have to go back. And I hate to say it, but we seen this coming. We said it last year. We said it the year before.
Yeah, because
Eventually, go ahead.
here's the thing. Like, I've seen this old argument crop up of, oh, you're just a load of sexists. Oh, you're just blokes who don't like women. And
Yeah,
here's the thing, and also the doctors in Alien stop saying it has to be male. Here's a thing that why I honestly think a male doctor will always work over a female, and that is the doctor can be many things. Each incarnation's different, they have different levels, but there's little character archetypes that sort of the doctor has. Obviously, some are higher in some incarnations and some are lower, but there's two which are constants, and that is grandfather and father
yeah,
with the doctor. Obviously, if it's an older doctor, it's grandfather. It's that sort of being that teacher, that wise older man, being that sort of grumpiness of a grandfather. There's some doctors have that, and if they're a bit younger, sometimes it's father, whether it's a bit more encouraging, it's a bit more banter, it's a bit more friendly, and those are part of I think why the doctor has to be male for this to work, this character to work for the public, because that those two aspects of grandfather and father, I think, are sort of ingrained at this point.
yeah,
And obviously, sometimes, even if you don't take those two archetypes, you can take the sort of romantic hero archetype, which what Tennant was, which what the sort of the younger doctors have become. And that's a male thing. And you've got female fans who are my age who won't who won't connect as much with a female doctor because they like that romance. They like the dishy, good-looking doctor. So by making it female, you are stripping away so many core tenets of this character, and that's why people don't like it. It's not even so. It's not this stupid. Oh, you just don't like females, or oh, it's an alien. It shouldn't matter the gender. It does for the character.
yeah, yeah.
And also the fact that you had this male character previously that didn't like violence, that was a pacifist, that was scientifically minded, that would use his brain and intelligence, that made the Doctor as a male sci-fi hero stand out. You make it a female, doesn't stand out as much now to have those traits. So there's quite a few intrinsic things of maleness, and that's why I think you can try with a female, even if you get a cracking actress to do it.
But you're still losing a lot by doing that. And
yes, what I'm saying.
But you're spot on. I said this, Lee would have said this at the time. A lot of us when Jodie Whittaker was cast, right? Even Peter Davison, which I think he came up with the most valid point of all, and he was crucified for it. He says, the Doctor's a role model, right? But not just, it could be role model for girls as well. We know that. But mostly it was a role model for boys. The Doctor was, whether they like that or not, that's just the bottom line. And he wasn't sure whether going down this route was the right way. He said that it would lose something. And there was a lot of other people like Sylvester McCoy at the time, but they kind of, they seen what happened Peter Davison, and they kind of backtracked a little bit, which I don't mind, because it is Sylvester McCoy, it is the other guys. I respect them. They were our doctors growing up, and I don't want to see any of them being attacked. What happened Peter Davison actually gutted me. Absolutely.
He's been proven right. So he basically called it before it happened.
Yeah, his comments ring right true right now. He should be still on Twitter. It's a goddamn shame he's not, because he was proven right. And it's not even about being proven right. Nobody wanted this. That's the thing, and nobody wanted Doctor Who to fail. But whether they like it or not, it has failed, and that's the bottom line. It has failed. They wouldn't, once you change the gender of the Doctor to from male to female, you're already losing a lot right there and then. So, and it doesn't matter. Charlotte is right. You could have the greatest actress in the world. The Doctor is not the Doctor anymore. That's the point. It just isn't. The character has been male for over 50 odd years. You can't just change it because you feel like, because you think it needs to be changed, because you run into all sorts of problems. And this is what we're having with Doctor Who now. We're seeing the problems unfold. Charlotte, I know you have to go shortly. Is there anything else you want to add before you do?
No, and because I do need to go in a couple of minutes, just it's good that you're back, mate, and we're all very happy for it.
Great. Well, we will be doing the watch alongs the weekend, the classic. So I'm assuming you're up for the classic watch along.
Yeah, of course, I love doing those.
Okay, great. I just don't know what we're going to, what episode. Actually, does anybody in the chat know what Doctor we're on from the
I know
last?
I can remember it was Seeds of Doom, because it was part.
Seeds of Doom is what we're doing, or Seeds of Doom? Oh, it was Seeds of Doom. Right, so it's Seeds of Doom on Saturday. Yeah, Seeds of Doom. I have that on DVD, I think, so we should be good. Seeds of Doom. So there you go, Charlotte. Do you want to do any shout outs before you head off?
Very quickly, me and Daniel did our Beware episode 5 review yesterday, so check that out if you haven't, because we had a good laugh. And we also had Beware comment actually on the video, which was lovely afterwards.
Fantastic. Well, yeah, as I said, I told people on Twitter as well, and people on here as well, to go and check out Daniel's channel. If one of the mods could throw that up there, I really do appreciate it. And we're on the last episode of season 3 of New Who. Yeah, I remember that all right. So, yeah, we've got that to look forward to as well. Listen, Charlotte, it's a pleasure having you back on. And listen, rightly so that you be the first caller when we come back. I really do appreciate your support, and thank you for coming back and sticking around on both channels, by the way. So we'll see you soon, and listen, you enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you the weekend.
See you at the weekend and on Friday if we do this again. Good
No,
night, everybody.
yeah, back Friday. Yes, I'll see you on Friday. Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Right, folks, I've put the link in the chat, but it doesn't seem that anybody wants to buy. So I'll put the link in again. It's the Tardis Zone Talks. Remember, the show goes on for as long as I got people coming on. Now, I know we're only back, so people probably, don't want to all hop on all together, but I don't mind. If there are a few more of you that want to come on, please do. Even if you're on the last stream, obviously, remember, you can come on. Lee is backstage, so if you do come on, unless I know who you are, obviously Lee will be asking you backstage who you are, and you have to prove to him you are. Then he has certain rules, so just follow them. It's just because, obviously, with all the stuff that we were dealing with, but hopefully we won't have to deal with that rubbish anymore. Yeah, the audio still goes a little bit fuzzy. Yeah, I wouldn't even mind the StreamYard now ran out. When was it? 2 weeks ago. They took the bloody money out of my wife's bank account. You'd think they would have bloody fixed the issue of when people go off. It could be YouTube though. There's a lot of dodgy crap going on. Let me see. We got Lee. Yeah, please make yourself known to get on. Present your name and links to your socials. So if you want to come on, I'll put the link in again. There you go. It's in there. If you want to come on, Doctor Who. It's Doctor Who related. So if there's anything you need to talk about and that's gone on, because we obviously haven't been here for a while. So if there's something you'd like to speak about, I'll tell you what, while we're waiting anyway, he normally does just sit backstage. But we'll bring Lee on for 15 minutes as well, like we did with Charlotte. And hopefully within that 15 minutes, we might have one or two more people that might pop on. If we don't, we're going to call it a night, okay? Because I know it's only the fourth stream back, so it'll take a while for everybody to get back into the swing of things. So, again, I'll say it is, if you've never been on either, come on, please do. The more the merrier. We'll keep it going for a while. While I was away, a lot of you were telling me that you missed it. So if you did, come on. Miss talking to you as well. So please do. But we'll bring Lee on and see what if there's anything. Actually, I'll ask him in the private chat first if there's that and Doctor Who related he wants to talk about first, because we are keeping it strictly Doctor Who. There's nobody in the studio, Lee, so you're talking to yourself, mate. Yeah, you've heard what I've said. If there's that and Doctor Who related you want to talk about, let me know. And you've got nothing either. Okay. Well, here, I might as well, while we're here, refresh everybody on the rumours that I got. Maybe that might spark up a conversation with people, and then maybe some of you might want to come on. As I said, I know it's the first night back, and the first night back is always a little bit slow. Yeah, well, PD Rich, that goes for you as well, mate. You don't be shy and step up to the mic. You usually have plenty to say as well. So if you want to come on, you're more than welcome. And even people I've never been on before, you see how it goes there. It's quite friendly. Come on and have a bit of a chat. So I'll fill you in with the old Doctor Who news that I received. And you can let me know what you think. So Jo Martin has discovered that she will not be the 14th Doctor and has withdrawn from an appearance in season 13. Now again, I will stress that this is rumour and speculation, and it is that until either proven or disproven. Now we speak about rumours, speculation on this channel a lot, and we do have a high success rate, no matter what the haters out there say. We do. But I will say, take this information with a pinch of salt. So apparently she has always assumed that she would take over from Jodie Whittaker. And obviously, if you heard me and Charlotte at the start, we were actually talking about Jo Martin, and maybe there are forces out there that have actually stopped this from actually happening. So apparently Chris Chibnall has been told that the next Doctor has to be a man. Now again, I will say it is all rumour and speculation, and I'll keep repeating myself like a parrot, because unfortunately there's some brain dead zombies out there that do not know the difference between rumour and speculation and fact, and then go around and accuse me of lying. Again, I will make it very clear, this is rumour and speculation. So Chibnall assumed it was obvious she was a pre-Hartnell, and that the Doctor was doctoring before Hartnell. Martin's story leads up to a mind wipe and the regeneration into the first Doctor. So that's what the plan was, but it looks like, if true, Jo Martin is not going to appear, because she would assumed she was the 14th Doctor. Now it's actually quite interesting. I never brought this up when I did the rumors at the time, but again, I did do a little video, right? When BBC Studios took over, they actually put up a very interesting story, right? And I had the Doctors playing in sequence, right? But the thing about it is, they had the first Doctor, second Doctor, third Doctor, all the way up to Jodie's Doctor, and then the next Doctor was Joe Martin, right? So I actually did a video at the time, and I said, is BBC trying to let us know who the 14th Doctor was? Now, people laughed at me when I did that video, but if you think about it, it ties in with the latest information that we've gotten, that apparently that was the plan. Now, by the sounds of things and other stuff that we've been hearing lately, it could be the fact that HBO Max and other forces, as Charlotte rightly pointed out, could be behind the decision by the BBC to now revert back. Because look at, no matter what the Jodie Whittaker fans say, no matter what the J-bots say, no matter what the supporters of this era say, and the YouTubers and all the people that spin the ratings of this show, it's bad, right? Now, Radio Times did a podcast, right, today. Actually, this is something for you to talk about. Radio Times did a podcast today, and you were talking about, is it time for Doctor Who to have an extended cinematic universe, right? Like it, look, but with spin-off TV shows. So basically, they're saying, is it time that Doctor Who goes down that route? Well, I would say no, not in this point in time, because every great franchise starts off with a solid foundation. And right now, we do not have a solid foundation because the main show in Doctor Who is not solid. The ratings are down. People are divided on the show. We've got the public tuning out. You know, so the talk of even doing an extended universe, to me, is actually premature. What BBC should be concentrating on, and what Radio Times should be calling the BBC out on, is the fact that the main show is not doing too well. You have to have the main show doing well before you even consider doing spin-offs. Remember, when Torchwood was launched, Doctor Who was doing very well. When Sarah Jane Adventures was done, the Torchwood and obviously Doctor Who were doing well. That's why we got those spin-offs. You don't bring out spin-offs because this is what will happen, right? They won't do it for the simple fact is, if any of these spin-offs happen to be better than the main show, well, then that's a damned indictment of the writers and the showrunner of the main show. So what I would suggest is that they actually fix the main show first before you even consider an extended universe, right? Now, again, you know, this is why I believe, you know, there may be decisions being made now because BBC knows that they're running out of time, and maybe their hands have been forced because they're not in a very strong position right now. So, yeah, so let me know what you think. We've got Lee and PD Rich waiting. So if they're the only two people that are coming on, we're going to finish it up with them, which means they'll be on for 15 minutes each, which means that's another half an hour. So that's just over an hour of the Tardis Zone talks tonight. I suppose we did go an hour once before. I don't mind. As I said, it's the first time, but I will put the link. It's in the chat there again, if you want to come on. Oh, we've got another two people there. So apparently, Lee, obviously, mate, you're obviously in the chat there. So we've got PD Rich, we've got Alpha Omega, and the Toro Doctor apparently. But if you could go and make sure that they're verified, I think PD Rich is definitely PD Rich. And I think Alpha Omega might be Alpha Omega. But Alpha is actually in the chat. So Alpha, if that's you in the studio, let me know in the chat. And PD, if that definitely is you, but we have to verify the Toro Doctor because I can't see an avatar. So verify the Toro Doctor. Toro Doctor is saying it is him. Okay, in the chat. And it is his avatar there. Yeah. Right then. Okay, well, we'll start off with Lee anyway. because we don't want them to be a little dictator in the chat there now. It seems to be all them, lad. Lee, seems to be all them. Oh, you've already, yeah. Right, we'll bring Lee on anyway. So we've got 4 guests. So there you go. After we bring on the Toro Doctor, that'll be it for the night. So we'll start off with Lee.
Welcome back.
How are you? Thanks. I'm. It's good to be back. I'm glad.
Yeah, I mean, I'd just like to say on that it was quite clearly a movement out of spite. I mean, I remember because I took screenshots of what he was saying about how he didn't want this to run on. Yeah, he persecuted you over this. It was just outrageous, and his pretty demure response goes to show what spinelessness there is. And well done. Yeah, I mean, I said it was like it was. You had a right to use it. I showed you that there were. I mean, it's really down to the courts to decide if you want to go there. You know, it's down to them to decide what's fair use. But the fair use policies for YouTube is pretty clear that you can read the entire article in its entirety, and you know, add comment, and you did. You followed that exactly. You know.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, you know, I'd just like to say, you know, since we've been offline, you know, all this stuff over John Bishop has gotten out of hand. Obviously, there's been an awful lot of that nonsense going around. And I would just like to say, isn't it funny, you know, these people who accuse his casting of being, you know, another a white cis male and all this nonsense. It's like, look, the only reason any of us really talk about race is because it's been made an issue by you people.
Yeah,
it's astounding that, you know, these people fetishize it to such a degree, and it's always white liberals, right? This is where it always seems to stem from. And it wasn't an issue before. It wasn't, you know, none of us had an issue with Bill, you know, the companion before this nonsense era. We love Bill. I love Bill. I think she's a great character. She's talking about maybe returning. That would be great. I'd like to see her back, just not under the current, you know, incumbent.
I see her back because I don't think she got the run.
No, we only got one season of her.
And she was a good companion, even if Stephen Moffat wanted to remind us every 5 minutes of our sexual preference.
Yeah,
we
got it. You know, we got it.
She was still a great character, and she was an interesting character, and she did have and her mother had that little backstory. She was an interesting character, and she just, you know, they got rid of her too soon. You
know, and played brilliantly as well. You know, by Bill Mackey, who's a fantastic actor. And it just seems such a shame that, you know, I mean, it's hilarious that, you know, we get called racist when you got a bunch of self-loathing white liberals who seem to find absolutely every fault with anything related to their own skin color, and it's so pathetic and sad. It really is tragic, really, that you feel that much self-loathing, and you know, it shouldn't be an issue. None of it should be an issue. You know, again, it's down to creativity, you know, which seems to be somewhat lacking in this current era because everything revolves around fetishizing race, gender, and all the rest of it. And Doctor Who's not about that. I'm sorry, it's not. You know, for true diversity to happen, it has to happen naturally, and it has to be done with good writing, the same as everything else, and with respect, not shoehorned, and with the respect. It's not respect. I mean, they show no respect to John Bishop. They to actively engage with this actor in this way and almost blaming him for his casting is despicable, quite honestly. You know, I disavow anyone who goes directly to an actor or writer or whatever to engage with them in a derogatory manner, unless of course they instigate it, in which case fair point. But he's done nothing wrong.
No, he hasn't. And listen, the thing about it is, though, what annoys me is it's if it was genuine outrage, I'd say right, fair enough.
Yeah, we know the real reason. The real reason is because they want, you know, all these crazy, very vocal people, and the minority of people on Twitter want to ship the Doctor with Mandip Gill's
Yeah,
Yaz character. That's the only reason is because they don't want woman on woman action. You know, they want woman on woman action in the TARDIS, and they don't want a stale pale male there interfering with it.
Exactly.
And it's so shallow, and you know, if this is how sexuality is going to be addressed in Doctor Who, I don't want any part of it. It's ridiculous, right? I don't feel represented because there's some same-sex action going on. I don't really think Doctor Who is a place for any form of sexual content, really. In you know, it's Doctor Who. It's not about that. It's not a soap opera.
No hanky panky in the TARDIS.
Absolutely. For me, the Doctor should be asexual. Let's get some asexual representation going, because you know how big certain members of the Twitter mob are big on asexuality. Looking at you, Kalani.
Here's another thing, though. I mean, look, when it comes to relationship, again, this will be spun by the other side, and I think I have to make this point. We are not opposed to people having same-sex relationships, right? But when it comes to Doctor Who, we don't want the Doctor, whether the Doctor was bisexual or was a lesbian or whatever, right? We don't want the Doctor.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Shippers are a minority in
or a woman, because when they do that, I think it'd be Littlesy's family in Gallifrey. Personally, I always thought that relationships like that did belittle his family.
Listen, the whole Rose thing I can understand, because you know a PTSD doctor forms a bond with a human woman, and he realizes, you know, he's never going to live with that person because they're going to grow old and die in front of his eyes.
Exactly,
and that has to always be centered. And I think that as a one-off, I'll let that go. But like, no, you know, it's not right. Listen, the shipping community within fandoms are those that write shitty fanfic online, and that's where it belongs, right? That's where it should stay. You know,
Chris Chibnall's that wet dream, because he's bringing it all front and center. See, again, right? Here's the thing, right? Donna and the Doctor, David Tennant's Doctor, in my opinion, have the best chemistry. And actually, I would have to say Peter Capaldi and Pearl Mackie, even though they had only one season. There was no romance in that, right? Pearl Mackie,
it was back to the teacher-student thing with
was helping our tutor.
Yeah, it was a student-teacher relationship, like the original Doctor. You know, first.
And then with Donna and the Doctor, it was a genuine friendship. Now, we don't mind those type of relationships, but whether the Doctor is male or female, I don't think it. I think if you bring the romantic element into it, it takes something away from the Doctor's character. And to me personally, it just belittles his family that passed away on Gallifrey, and that never sits well with me. I've never liked it. Yes, I do agree with Lee. The Rose thing you can kind of excuse, because you know, look at the way the Doctor.
I was against it when it happened at the time. Right, so it's not about whether or not it's a same-sex relationship or it's a heterosexual relationship. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't work on screen in Doctor Who, right? In a soap opera, fine, but on a show like Doctor Who, which is supposed to be for everybody, for families and things. Listen, nothing wrong with having LGBT representation in Doctor Who at all whatsoever. It's been done. We've had the great
Jenny
Captain Jack.
We've had Jenny and Vastra. They're saying, wherever, there's still two women. So that's a same-sex couple, or, well, because one's a lizard, maybe it's a same-sex couple, whatever, right? But we've had Captain Jack as well. We've had Bill Potts. We've had, who else have we had? We've had plenty of represent. Look, this is a lot of crap. This, again, they were done with respect. Captain Jack, done with respect, right? Chris Chibnall does it, right? I've already made this point. I keep going back to it. But Resolution is the perfect example to show that he just does not give a crap about representing people properly. If you're going to bring on a character just for him to have one sentence to say that his boyfriend's at home, right? and then you kill them off. That's not representation. I'm sorry, folks. That is actually very.
It's the old bury your gays trope.
Insulting. You know? It's insulting, actually. Where's
I mean, exactly. It's so shoehorned in, and that goes to show the mindset. It doesn't matter if he went and recorrected that by having, you know, a same-sex male couple in the following season. It shows the mindset that he thought he could get away with doing it that way.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, if you think like that, and if you think like that on a 24/7 basis, and you feel that that's how you do your representations and all the rest of it, it's shallow. It goes to show you've got a serious problem. That if this is something that's on your mind constantly, that you're fetishizing it to the point where you do things in such a cack-handed manner, maybe the problem is you are the homophobe. Maybe you are the racist. You know, because you're overthinking it.
The other couple, the astronaut, wasn't it? An astronaut or something. Remember, he did another same-sex couple as well.
That was to make up for that. I mean, we know that.
But again, that felt, you know, yes, they did have one or two moments.
Well, the fact that they wrote it as a haha, you see that they're a gay couple. It was just kind of like, so you're just kind of presenting it in a, here's the spin.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to feel manipulated to accept this gay couple because you've written it in a, see, they're actually together. They're not brothers or, you know, friends. Haha. And it's just like, oh, please, come on.
Yeah.
Just, you know, if you're going to write
you don't really need
them established already that way.
It's ridiculous. You don't even really need to make it that obvious either. I mean, you could do it subtly like RTD did, and then we'd figure it out for ourselves.
And look, I don't need to be represented on screen to enjoy something. I don't need to be reminded 24/7 that gays exist. I know, all right, I am one. You know, I exist, but you don't see it in everyday life all the time, 24/7. You know, it's something that should just be there naturally or not at all. Or, you know, there, they're not there, you know, like in real life.
Yeah.
Fine. You know, we get it. You don't need to constantly jump on the bus because it's, you know, so 2021. You know, do it because it's right. Do it because the story requires it, you know, or, you know, just write it well. I mean, that's a start. I mean, there's a unique opportunity right there, you know. And this is what RTD fully understood, you know, and he's very good at characterization and making it relevant to a plot. This really isn't. It's shoehorned in, and it makes me feel uncomfortable. I just want to gag because, and I got terrible gag reflex, but it for me makes me feel cringe. You know, I'd rather have no representation at all than have it done in this way, because it's so superficial, you know, and I see through it, and it makes me feel uncomfortable for everyone else watching it, because I don't want to be connected with being that kind of perceived representation, which is so forced and unnatural. I'm not saying being gay is unnatural, you know, that would be silly. But what I'm saying is the way it's presented is unnatural. It's so overly crafted and too, you know, overly thought about. But the characters aren't thought about enough. You know, the actual characters, the humanity, besides the fact that they're gay. You know, it's more about that than it is about the rest of the character. You know, because as I've said many times, you know, being of some immutable characteristic is not your character, right? That's something that happens to be part of that person's character, because, you know, it's an immutable trait. It's something they're born with or grow up to be, and that's fine. But there's so much more to a person than their genitalia or who they sleep with. You know, there's so much more that can be explored, but it's sacrificed on the altar of this message, and I find it really offensive, actually, because it's so badly executed. You know? That's how I feel about it, anyway. So.
Fantastic. Well, you've actually timed that well, because we've got 33 seconds left. So do you want to blast out any shout outs or anybody in the
Well,
chat?
you can follow me on the Twitterats at Being Problem, and I have my other channel with my CGI work on there, which is Audred Audio Visual, and that's it.
Fantastic. Listen, it's great to have you on, and it's good to be back.
Well done on getting back and for winning so much win. That's great.
That's it. Well, listen, they showed their true colours this morning when they start blocking people, even
exactly. It's pathetic, spineless. Yeah.
So we don't need to say any more about it now. We can draw a line under it now. At the end of the day, it is. But I will say this is significant, though. I know some other YouTubers out there won't realise it, but this is significant because it goes to show now that if journalists try this rubbish,
journalists who are pro censorship are not journalists.
Yeah,
they are activists.
Exactly.
And the fact that he went on to say that he intended to do this to other YouTubers that he dislikes, especially Fandom Menace, proves his intent.
Yeah, exactly. So it's important that I still think it's important that it should be highlighted by some people out there.
I think you should sue him for loss of earnings, quite honestly. I really do.
Yeah. Well, we're looking into that, to be quite honest with you, because you know, in fairness, it was wrong for what they did, and you know, I think people like the guy in question need to be taught a lesson that they're not going to get away with,
because they're going to try again, and they must be stopped from doing that. It's disgusting. It's antithetical to journalism.
But I'll say to the Fandom Menace and all you other YouTubers out there that read articles now, I took one for the team, so yay!
Yay, well done.
And now you know that it's all right for you to read articles, even if you didn't jump to me defense or
got every right to. But
thanks to those that did, because there are even some that I didn't even know who did, that Lee rightly pointed out. So I want to thank those who did actually highlight my situation. I really do appreciate it. But it did make me realize that you know, when shit goes down, we'll have to handle it ourselves, because there'll be nobody there for us except the people that care. And yeah, which is a bit sad, really, because it's a big community. You think other YouTubers would jump to your defense, but there you go. We'll leave it at that. I'm not gonna get anymore. I've said my piece anyway.
You're back. That's what matters.
And that's it. Right, Lee, I'll leave you in the back of the studio.
Right.
The three guys verified and all, yeah? Okay, Grant. Right. I'll talk to you soon, pal.
Will do. Take care, guys. See you later.
Bye-bye. Right, let's bring on our next guest. It's the one and only PD Rich.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Oh, not too bad. How are you?
I'm all right. It's good to see you back. It's good to be back.
Thanks very much, and thanks for coming on and basically helping me out tonight. It's a slow one tonight, but obviously it's the first night back, so when people realise that I'm actually back, they will all come back. Yeah, I've been out of the loop concentrating on my own channel, says the classic 80s fanboy. Yeah, I was gone for a while, but we're back now anyway, so yeah, enough of that anyway. PD, is there anything in particular you want to bring up?
Well, I just want to say about the chat. I'm just talking about YouTube itself. Stop persecuting Babette Bombshell. They've done nothing wrong.
Why are they
blocking? The chat every time Babette keeps posting, the chat's been flagging them all night.
Seriously?
Like, Babette's done nothing wrong. What is wrong with the algorithm?
I don't know, man. YouTube's ridiculous. Have to be honest, and we had him his good self on a few weeks back.
He's a good guy.
Few weeks back, and it was one of the best streams we had. Nice chap. So don't know what the feck has gone. That's YouTube.
I don't know, but yeah. So I'm just turning around and saying every time it flags him, I'm going to plug his channel.
Just keep approving his comments anyway. Feck them anyway.
His comments, there's nothing wrong with his comments. I mean, really,
they're being idiots.
I know. It's like I just hope Babette's not in trouble with the FBI or anything. I really do.
Well, if you're arcing out of my chat,
no. Welcome. Yeah.
By the way, FBI, if you are here, hello.
Hi. There's nothing to see
Anyway,
here. Nothing to see.
yeah, that's it. There's nothing to see here. All we are is a bunch of grumpy old men talking about pop culture.
Yeah, we did no harm, really.
Won't be your cup of tea. Unless you FBI agents or CIA agents out there are actually pissed off like us about pop culture, then stay.
Probably are.
Probably.
Probably.
Obviously, it's Doctor Who tonight, and obviously we broke obviously the rumors on the Irish Geek, but I threw the video up here about Joe Martin, and there's been other stuff as well that Rabbi has spoke about. Gary has spoke about stuff as well. So with everything that's gone on with all the rumors that we're hearing, PD, I mean, it is interesting. I did say, that we would start getting interesting bits of news. But with all the news that you've heard, is there anything that stands out? Is there anything that you say, yeah, that
well, because of what's happening and because of Gary's latest rumor, I think they're going to cancel the show. I really do. It's just got something nagging at me. You know, when you just get that kind of inkling or that spidey sense.
Yeah.
I'm just getting that because I think they're financially screwed.
Do you not think? See, here's my problem, and I'm not saying Gary's sources have been spot on. I have to say that, but here's my thing. Right, I'm trying to put me not me Doctor Who hat on. Take me Doctor Who hat on and just put me logical hat on. Right, and logically, to me, if they were going to cancel, I don't see them cancelling before the 60th though.
I know it's a bit silly to do that.
I know it is. We all know it's in financial. It is. And,
they're in tatters.
They're in tatters, right? But the thing about it is whether we like it or not, 60th anniversary year. And I know there's some people out there, well, do they really care about the 60th anniversary? The thing is, they know fans will be.
Yeah.
So they've got a chance that, they won't make any of that money back that they've lost. But I don't think they're going to shoot themselves in the foot and cancel it before the 60th. Now, unless something major happens. I mean, I don't think they should be going ahead with Series 13 with Jodie Whittaker anyway. If they're really serious about saving this, they should have got rid of her, got rid of Chris Chibnall, and started again with Series 13.
Exactly, yeah.
Right? But we do know that she's going to stay for Series 13. Then
it's going to be a reduced season as well.
Here's the thing: we do know that a Series 14 is happening. So no matter what happens, Doctor Who is on for another 2 years, right? So it is on for another 2 years. So that's why I don't see them cancelling. Again, though, I will say this: Gary's sources have been spot on. Now, I think you can say within the same video though, this is not from a normal source. But I can verify that Gary is right about one thing anyway. He said that it was on the table, the cancellation. And we spoke about it here months back. So, yes, he is right. There is talk of it. But I don't see them doing it before the 60th. But I could be wrong. At this stage, because the way the ratings are, their hand could be forced and it could be the end.
Yeah, they could shove it into a hiatus for a couple of years.
And here's the thing: I did actually say at one stage when I was a little bit less, more optimistic, I did say I'd be surprised if it got to the 60th if it continued down the same route. So I have to throw that out there because I did say that at the time. But look, I did say the window of opportunity for BBC to save this show was getting small, very, very slim. And if she had left after Series 12 and he was gone, I think there could be. I don't know now. I really don't. I don't know. Look, at this stage, I could say it's probably going to go either way. PD.
But they could hiatus it though. They could shove it in hiatus for a couple of years and just bring it back for one special, just to test the water, if you know what I mean.
They could do that. And you're right. That is another possibility. But
It's just this Joe Martin stuff. It's just Joe Martin suddenly going, "I'm not going to be the 14th Doctor," and walking away now.
Throw this out here. I mean, listen, it doesn't have to have a long hiatus either, right? So, just say, for example, they decided to stop it after series 13. So, many years are we from the 60th? 3 years, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we got 3 years.
Right. So 3 years. So they could keep it off the TV for 3 years and then relaunch it on the 60th anniversary.
Yeah, was it 2013? Sorry, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, 2023, got a couple of years. So yeah, they could just show it this year and then shove it in the hiatus for a couple of years.
They could do that, right? But they see, the thing about it is they do have.
And their season 14 is to try and bring it up,
HBO Max deal, and that's what's making me think. I know it's in dire straits, but the thing about it is they do have that HBO.
They've got
Max
to honour that international deal.
And they do have that Chinese deal in place, and I will say this: if you burn bridges.
Yeah, the Chinese deal isn't as bad as the HBO Max. That's just they got first dibs on the show.
50-50 right now, but I think they'd shoot themselves. I think really, if BBC were thinking about this logically, they'd say, right, listen, after the 60th, we'll call it for a few years, until the financial situation gets better, and then we'll bring it back. We'll tell them that we're bringing it back, but we're just waiting. You
might be right. It might just be coasting until the 60th.
They could. Well, it depends, because let's be honest, right? Even if they do, right? Jodie is gone after series 13.
Yeah, she's got to go.
Series 14 is received well by Miracle, right? Just say there is a new showrunner in place. Say there is a male doctor, right?
Yeah.
And they hit the ground running. Well, then they might get to the 60th then and think, well, listen, we don't need to go anywhere now.
Wow.
We're on a bit of a high. So. Again, see, there's so many possibilities.
Yeah,
the next weeks and months are going to be very interesting, and it is turning out that way already. There's some very interesting stuff whether it's being leaked deliberately to throw people off, whether the stuff being linked because it's true. There's a lot of stuff out there. Different articles being thrown out there. There's talks of extended universes and all this. All this is thrown out because, listen, these people don't just come up with these things. They're all being talked about, obviously.
Yeah.
There's stuff going on. And seriously, at the time when your woman came out and said the next Doctor was going to be a woman, I even said at the time, right, even though I said, right.
Well, they were pushing Joe Martin so hard, weren't they?
Actually say this could also be smoke and mirrors. This could also be all smoke and mirrors because there's something bigger going on behind the scenes. And I do well believe there's something bigger going on behind the scenes. There's something not right, definitely something not right. And I don't know, Santarans now, he's bringing back, he's bringing back familiar. And I think he is trying to bring back these familiars. So he tries to draw the audience in. So by the time they get to series 14, they might be in a bit of a better shape than what they're in now. But I don't think the BBC realised that he's done a lot of damage. And the best thing that they could do is cut loose with him now. I mean, I wouldn't even got him to do series 13. But there you go. That's me.
So they could be doing season 14 to test the waters. You could be right. But I don't reckon we'll get any real information until kind of summer.
Yeah.
What's actually going on behind the scenes.
We'll see. It's going to be interesting, I'm telling you. But listen, this is the most excited I've been because, this is the chance now for BBC to get it right.
Yeah.
And I think it's their last chance to get it right.
It's make or break.
Seriously, if they don't get the right person in to replace Whittaker, well, then it's done for. It is done for, and it won't survive after the 60th, or it could well, as Gary has indicated, that there are talks that they might even cancel it before the 60th. That's a possibility. Then it could happen, but they have a chance now, and this is their window, and this is their only window. So they better make
Yeah.
And this is why I believe, and there's a lot of people out there saying, well, why would they get a big name? Or these names are impossible. They won't be able to afford this person. They won't be able to afford that person. Listen for a minute, right? These are all forgetting HBO
Yeah.
and China. But forget about China. These are all forgetting about HBO, right?
It's more about HBO, yeah.
for example, right? And I just want to throw this out there. If HBO have actually told the BBC that they have to tell Chris Chibnall that the next Doctor has to be male, do you not think that HBO Max would not put the money up front to make sure that they get the actor right?
Oh, they'd put it straight up, mate.
Of course they would. So all of this rhetoric that they won't be able to afford a big name is invalid. They will be able to afford a big name. And I think that's why they're going to go for a big name this time, because I honestly believe we're gone past the point of hiring an unknown young lad or whatever, right? It's not going to work. We're going to have to get that big name in. And you know, it's, you know, okay, we've had John Hurt. People will consider him a big name. He is a big name, but he played the War Doctor. But we do need, and Christopher Eccleston, he wasn't really a big name, but, you know, they need to go bigger.
It's still slightly Hollywood, wasn't it?
And Michael Sheen ticks a lot of boxes. Now, whether, I'm not saying it's going to be him, but
I hope it's him.
He would tick a lot of boxes. So don't, listen, again, you know, don't rule that out at this stage. HBO Max, if HBO Max have flexed their muscles, then they're going to try, that they would. Why would they say to them, listen, BBC, you need to cast a male Doctor? And then they basically said, well, we don't have the money to cast the big name.
Yeah.
You know, they're not going to turn around and say, well, then I'm sorry, but that's what we want. And not say, well, here's the money. Here, get the person on board. Right, sign them up for 3 years. There's how much to offer them. Bang.
Yeah, exactly. I do reckon. I think you're right, but I just got this bad feeling this Joe Martin being suddenly throwing her toys out the pram and saying, "I'm not going to be the Doctor now. I'm not peering." I just got this feeling like, you know, they're thinking about pulling the old exit, pushing the big red button on it.
Well, listen, they could offer her. Look. They did. BBC could look. They could easily. Yes, she's disappointed, and I am disappointed for her. I have to be honest.
Yeah,
I'm not
she would have been good.
No, I would be disappointed for her because, you know, in 15 minutes she convinced everybody she was more of a Doctor than Jodie Whittaker.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? And you know, fans, whether they like to admit it or not, fans did like our interpretation. They did, right? They liked our TARDIS. You know, a lot of fans don't like praising that Chris Chibnall done because they don't want to give him praise. But a lot of people did like the Fugitive Doctor, right? Whether they like to admit it to themselves or not. Now, if she has been shafted because HBO Max, listen, they'll get. Look, they're not. The HBO Max know that she'd be disappointed. So again, I would suggest that BBC or something would say to her, listen, we will get you. We will give you a lead in another show. Though I know you're disappointed, this is the road, but this is what we've been asked to do, and this is the way we're going, and blah, blah, blah. Or maybe they'll even say, listen, we'll bring your Fugitive Doctor back maybe to do the storyline so we can end it once and for all with a new showrunner in place, new Doctor in place. You know, they could do whatever, right?
Yeah.
But trust me, she might throw her, but they'd quickly, you know, offer or something. I'm pretty sure. You know, it's the same with Whittaker as well. There's all talks about her taking over certain shows. And we did speak about that she was told that she left Doctor Who. She would be offered a lead role in another show.
Yeah.
As you know yourself, Death in Paradise has been making that she will be, because apparently that is, they rotate after 3 years on that as well.
Yeah.
And the producer has come out and said maybe it is time for another woman. And Jodie Whittaker, obviously, his name is front and center because, you know, again, though, I wouldn't rule her out for that, because for the simple fact of the matter is Jodie Whittaker seems to be a bit like Conor McGregor, likes to get records, you know, and she already has the record for the first. That'll be entrenched in TV history. She already has that. So now she can go off and do it in Death in Paradise. She'd be the first female lead detective on Death in Paradise. And I think that would, because she, I'm not, look, I won't criticize her that much, but she does we do know what she's like. She's not me.
Yeah, she's like an Afghan hound, really. She
Well,
just runs around me all the time.
That would sound good to her, because when she's doing her interviews, she'd be talking about, I am the first female. And
She was an Afghan hound as well.
Exactly, it suit her down to the ground. She likes to glow. So, I wouldn't rule it out. But we'll see what happens. But listen, PD Rich, we have actually come.
Yeah, I know.
Time, but is there anybody you want to shout out?
Well, there's a shout. I'm going to want to shout out Babette Bombshell because of what the algorithm's been doing to them tonight. So I'm going to put that link in it. And I also want to say, can we say on the 13th, Saturday the 13th is Rabbi's Indiegogo campaign. And also I shout that out as well.
That's right. Yeah, he's tried to get Ethan Van Sciver on. Let's hope the big guys help out the little small guys. It'd be nice if he did.
He's done enough for John F. Trent. Every single Bounding Points article is one of Rabbi's on Doctor.
Yeah, fair play to John. Yeah. He's very good at that. See, I don't read the articles as much as I used to. He's covered a few of my things as well and wrote a few articles as well. John's a good one.
He's a good man.
With integrity, actually.
He pops in on Doomcock's Army every once in a
while. And got attacked recently, but they're the kind of journalists that support YouTubers. If you haven't supported Bounding into Comics, as I said, they do have a YouTube channel as well.
And I'll shove that in the chat as well.
And he'll shove that in the chat. Right, PD, I'm going to get on our last guest, but listen, thanks for coming on. I really
appreciate it's good. It's good to see you back in the field, okay?
No problem.
I hope all my little bits and pieces of information I've been throwing to you have been useful.
On
Facebook, all the little this is happening. Pointing out it's happening not just to you, it's happening to other people as well.
With Random Mecha, I mentioned it as well.
Mecha Random's been hit as well.
Shadow band apparently. I don't know what's see, but this is YouTube. We're gonna play dirty, so we just have to kind of be one step ahead of them and try to be more clever.
The problem is, we've got to be all got to be whiter than white in this one, but it's always blows up in their faces. It's karma.
But I mean, if we all came together, I keep saying it, but look, the Fandom Menace will do what the Fandom Menace does.
Yeah, it's Pirates of the Caribbean 3, mate. They've just got to get the bloody Brethren Court to agree.
That's it.
Brethren Court never agrees.
No, I didn't let him out because he has a poop. There, he's fine. And he's probably still poop on him. Anyway.
Is he all right?
No. Right, PD.
Anyway, I'm
gonna have to bring on my next guest. But listen, thanks for being on. I really appreciate it, pal.
Okay. I'm bailing out. See you out.
See you later, mate. See you later. Bye-bye. Right, let's bring on our last guest tonight. It's the Toro Doctor.
Hello, Noel.
How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Noel, how are you?
I'm not too bad. What would you like to talk about?
Good to have you back.
Thanks very much. I really appreciate it.
You left a very big gap. I'm glad you had that backup channel. It's good to get something back to normal.
That's it. I mean, the second channel's doing well now, so I'm delighted for that as well. But I've missed being on this channel, all right. But it's good to be back. So we got a lot of stuff going on in Doctor Who lately. Is there anything you want to pick up on?
It's just adding on to what you've been talking about, really, with Lee and everybody else. I mean, it's nice to think that Chibnall has been slapped down a little bit, if that is true. I mean, it needed doing a long time ago. I mean, anybody, I think, could have seen that changing the Doctor's gender wasn't going to work. It was just pandering to wokery and trying to play to the smallest audience out there. And now they've got one of the smallest audiences out there, so they've got what they wanted, haven't they? And it's trash. I know we've got the 60th coming up. I think they're possibly going to can it. The thing is, if it dies a death with this next series that sees Whittaker go on away, then it's going to be at an even lower point than it is now. Because let's face it, she isn't going to produce an Act 8 complete blinders, is she? It's just going to be another series of the complete diarrhea that she's been giving us. It's going to be more facial expressions. It's going to be more South Yorkshire. Hey, I'm doctor, and you're gonna do as I tell you, or else, And I mean, I'm Yorkshire. I'm North Yorkshire. I'm Yorkshire though, and even I can't stand the sound of her voice, and it's just going to be toe curling. And by the time that series finishes, it'll be less than 2 years, I think, to the anniversary then. And if they pursue it up to that point, the anniversary is going to just fall flat, and it'd probably be better not to do anything at all. Like they skipped the 30th, didn't they, or the 40th, whichever one they skipped. But I don't know. If they're going to do anything, I would try and give it the best part of 2 years rest. And if they have to do a special, just a special to mark the 60th, and maybe have it ambiguous, maybe have no Doctor, do something like that. I don't know.
Well, I was going to ask you, if Whittaker was to leave, right, and just say they did cancel it till the 60th. They did a special on the 60th. Do you think she should be part of the 60th?
No, it's like you said. She is a forever ingrained as being, the first. It always reminds me what Gary says. The first female Doctor, who we shall lovingly call Dr. Karen. She'll always be there as that, unless she is completely retconned. And I don't know. For me, she has to be completely retconned. That won't happen. But for me personally, I love Doctor Who more than I can ever explain. I look around my place here, and there's, I've got the Dalek and everything, and loads of stuff, and I love it, but I cannot stand anything that has that woman's picture in it. I think she's just trashed it, and the person behind her has trashed it. And it's almost like it was deliberate as well. Anybody that knows Doctor Who, anybody that knows what made it successful and everything else, knows that this direction would have failed. And it was just pandering. It was pandering to the ones that are a minority but shout the loudest, and those are the ones that the BBC are scared of. And they've just, well, look what they've done. I mean, it's like it's not stunning and brave to have black people in Doctor Who. It's not stunning and brave to have gay people in Doctor Who. It's been done. It's nothing unusual, and surely anybody that's pressing for equality, any group that's pressing for equality, the true showing that you have achieved equality of some kind is when they're included and it's no big deal. It's if it is a big deal, then they're obviously underrepresented.
Well, you're defeating the purpose, hadn't you? You're kind of defeating the purpose of it. Exactly.
I mean, you look back to Hartnell. 10th Planet.
Exactly.
I know it was his last story, but there was a black guy in that, and he was an astronaut. Now, to be an astronaut, that means you're exceptionally. He was portraying a character that must be exceptionally physically fit and bloody clever to be an astronaut. Scientist, physicist, the whole 9 yards to be an astronaut.
If I'm correct in saying that astronaut that you're talking about on the 10th Planet went on to be old Billy Shipton in New Who. He was the old man. So, I mean, look, again, RTD was very clever doing that as well, because do you know what? To me, shame, it was only after, obviously, I watched the extras on each DVD as I bought them, because it was a while since I'd watched Classic Who. And then when I was seeing the interviews and I was seeing these people, I was going, oh, jeez, RTD is literally bringing back all the classic cast members that are still alive that played, that were in certain episodes. And I thought, fair play to them. But yeah, listen, there's always this whole thing about there's been no diversity in Doctor Who. There's been no strong female representation in Doctor Who. It's all a load of rubbish, and it always has been a load of rubbish.
Totally, in front of the screen and behind the screen.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, you go back to 63, and it was one of the strongest women you could possibly imagine that brought that series to realization. And it was a gay Jewish guy that was the first director.
Yeah, whereas you saying, I know.
And the Doctor Who theme, one of the most instantly recognizable pieces of music in the world. And it was put together by a woman. Yeah, all right, Ron Grainer put the notes down on the pieces of paper, but that could have come out in any combination of ways. The imagination was Delia Derbyshire. And,
exactly.
And it's her that's going to be remembered for decades to come, more than Ron Grainer, you know. And it is absolute bollocks, you know. And all this shipping the Doctor and Yaz, it just makes me want to throw. Honestly, it's not what Doctor Who's about. You've got hundreds of other shows that are going all woke, PC, and let's make every character either biracial couples or gay couples or whatever, or let's turn the characters gay and everything. It's like, what? Why do you need to do it? Do you need so much validation in your identity that you have to have every character in every program that you watch representing you? Because at the end of the day, you know, nothing against anybody and each to their own, but it is, at the end of the day, like it or not, a minority. And if you do that, fine, but you are excluding the majority, and it will.
Yeah, and RTD did it well when he introduced characters, same-sex couples, the whole lot. He did it with different characters and introduced these characters into Doctor Who. They didn't try change everything that makes the Doctor the Doctor.
Even subtly, you know, Gridlock, he was jumping down from one vehicle to another.
Yeah.
It was two women that were married, and
that's right.
It was nothing. You go back to Age of Steel, wasn't it? The parallel universe one. And Ricky died, so Mickey stayed there with Jake, and they cut out the bit where Jake said Ricky was the best boyfriend.
Yeah. I know, and that annoyed me actually when I seen that. Why did they cut that out? They should.
No idea why they cut that out.
Russell T Davis's writing was so subtle. It was so spot on that you actually didn't need that scene. And I agree with you. Actually, now that I think about it, you are right. It was there. You knew that they were a couple.
But if Chibnall had been writing that, not only would they have kept it in, Jake would have said, "Oh, Ricky was the best boyfriend I ever had, but you look exactly like him, so you'll do," and they'd have got it on across the bonnet of the van, you know. And then gone and transitioned into women just to make sure we tick all the boxes. And I just, you know, head in hands, despair.
And again, another same-sex couple, Jenny and Vastra. Let's not forget them either. We had Bill Potts, Captain Jack Alonso. Even Alonso, sure, the Doctor got Captain Jack and Alonso together as well. Do you remember when David Tennant's Doctor was going on his last, he was taking his prize and he was going around and basically awarding himself and going back, seeing back. He went back to see Mickey and Martha, and then he went back to see Sarah Jane. He saved Sarah Jane's son, and then he goes to Captain Jack at the bar. And he goes, his name is Alonso or something, and then they hit it off. Like, you know, that was great.
That was great.
Yeah.
I thought that was
that's what I mean. When it's done properly, when it's written properly, and Alonso, again, in Voyage of the Damned, you know, Alonso, he was only in that one story, right? And then obviously then they brought him back to do that little scene. But we had that one story, right? But we were invested in Alonso. Everybody loved Alonso. And then Captain Jack, and when him and Captain Jack kind of hit it off, we were all bleeding over the moon because the both of them, you know, he just lost his ship and lost his job, and Captain Jack had lost obviously his whole team of torture, so he was devastated. So yeah, it was
yourself being as invested in a character from Orphan 55. I can't even remember a bloody character from Orphan 55.
No,
and that includes the regulars. It's just and again, that end scene with Tennant. If Chibnall had written it, you would never have seen Mickey and Martha together because they were both the same color and both straight. You know, you'd never have had it.
No, but they eventually, exactly. And then they eventually got together, which was great. I was delighted for Mickey because I thought, you know, he's being treated like crap by Rose, you know, and it was nice to see those two. I actually wanted them to be part of the new Torchwood team if they had kept Torchwood going. Mickey, Captain Jack, and Martha Jones, and then obviously recruit a few new members, and you'd have your new Torchwood team. But no,
I think that'd be.
But again, I think we have to point out and make it clear that fans of us that have a problem with this era have never had a problem, and this is why we're given example. We do not have a problem with representation. Unfortunately, the thing is that Chris Chibnall is actually doing a disservice. He's not treating these characters with respect either, and this is why we give out. We're not giving out because we're homophobes or transphobic or whatever name you throw at us. We give out because we do believe strongly that if you're going to represent people in society and you're going to introduce them to a TV show, well, then they better goddamn have a good character arc, a good story arc, and not to be shoehorned in and treated with disrespect. They must always be treated with respect, no matter who you're representing. And RTD understood that. Even Stephen Moffat, to a certain extent, until it got to the end of his era, and he was made shoehorn stuff in because you could see it. But both of them understood how to do it. Chris Chibnall just doesn't. And I'm sorry, he might be good at writing dramas like Broadchurch, right? And yes, he'll get credit where credit is due. I even like a movie that he did about my favourite football team, Manchester United. It's called United, about the Munich air disaster. That was a brilliant put together movie. He did well. There was emotional feels, the whole lot. Right, you do that. But when it comes to sci-fi, I am sorry, he is not a sci-fi writer. He's a good drama writer. He's good at all that other stuff. But Doctor Who is more than just a drama. Right? There's sci-fi elements to it. Well, it's supposed to be mostly sci-fi anyway, but over the years, Doctor Who has evolved, especially under Moffat. It became more of a kind of a fantasy fairy tale kind of thing with the sci-fi mixed in. But Chris Chibnall has just turned this into Broadchurch in space, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Right? There's hardly any sci-fi in it. I mean, he had Nikola Tesla in an episode, right? One of the greatest, whether you believe whatever about him, right? You have a scientist in like that, and then you don't use him in that episode whatsoever that much. I mean, that episode was a disgrace. This was a scientist that's revered around the world, believe it or not, because we know what happened to him. You know, we heard, the way he was treated, you know, and then you go and represent it like that. No. This is what we're talking about. Chris Chibnall, I'll give you a few more minutes because I have harped on. But Chris Chibnall, this is why I'm angry. This is why I keep coming out and doing these streams and talking about it all the time. Is because I'm trying to get it through to the Jodie Whittaker's fans' heads and the J-Bots thick skulls that this man does not give a shit about A, representation, B, he does not treat you with respect, because if you look at what he's done so far, everything suggests that he's way out of his league. He doesn't know how to character develop these characters. He thinks by doing little one-liners, oh, look at me, I have a boyfriend at home. Here, darling, kill me now. He thinks that's good enough. And then when he's he's dealing with issues like mental health, or when Graham, and I'll bring this up again because this annoys me, because I've had family members that have passed away from cancer. It's bloody horrible, right? And I also know what it's like to have that fear when you're a cancer survivor, and because I've seen it, and there's always that fear there, like what Graham had when he went to the doctor, and then she turned around and says, well, I know I should say something here, but I'm socially awkward, he, and everybody thought that was okay. That was disrespectful. And if you defend that, then there's clearly something wrong with you. You're a cold-hearted person, because you have to understand what I've seen it firsthand. Right? It's bloody horrible to have that fear, right? And it's not nice. And when someone talks to you like that, they need comfort. They need to know that everything is going to be all right, even if you're lying. They just want that comfort. Chris Chibnall couldn't even deliver a line. You know what I mean? It was treated with disrespect, and that's what he does with every other issue that he tries to bring up. But when he talks about climate change, he gets that spot on, because he preached that and rammed that down your throat, right? When it comes to everything else, when it comes to highlighting the Rosa Parks story, absolutely disgraceful. The partition of India, absolutely disgraceful, right? This man is just a clueless hack, and we said it when he was cast, when he was given the listen. There was loads of videos from where everybody. I urge everybody actually in the chat later on tonight, if you get a bit of time. When was Chris Chibnall cast? Given the job, 3.5
years, wasn't it? And 16.
Yeah. Go back to video. Seriously, right there. Chris Chibnall hired as new Doctor Who showrunner, and watch the videos that were out at the time, and you will see that there's a lot of videos of people saying that this man is a hack and he's going to ruin Doctor Who. A lot of people predicted it. Actually, I will even go as far as to say that Dave Cullen's video is probably the best video of them all, because when he did a video back about it, I think he got her spot on, and he said that this is what was going to happen, and we're here. This is the reality of the situation. So yeah,
I can't stand the guy. I mean, like what you said regarding cancer. I mean, I lost my dad to cancer, 19 years ago now, but I remember the fear he went through when he had an op, and it gave him an extra year, but he had that hope that it might be. And then when it all started again, and just the sheer terror that he went through, and to have it treated as glibly as that, it was one of the few times, it was probably the only time ever that I've hated the character of the Doctor. I mean,
I know,
but it was just, and it is all dross. You know, you touched on Rosa Parks. I watched a YouTube video today on Rosa Parks' biography, and it went into detail about that story. There was a lot of this highly praised Doctor Who story. It was completely wrong. You know, it wasn't as literally black and white, to coin a phrase, as that story made it out to be either. So, you know, the only seat on the bus and all that kind of thing. It was different. But,
do you know what though? What the supporters
Chibnall doesn't like facts to get in the way, does he?
Yeah. You know what it is though? I'll tell you what it is, right? Whether people like this or not, a story like Rosa Parks has no business in Doctor Who, because once you start bringing stories in like Rosa Parks, then you have to kind of bring in a bit of a gimmick, or you have to bring in something to kind of, why is the Doctor here? And then you seen what their solution was. It was a space racist in a leather jacket, right? So I mean, yeah. And then when you watch the episode, they betrayed every white person as a racist. Now, listen, right? Whether you like it or not, J-Bots, right? That wasn't the case. You know, white people, not all white people are evil, which might surprise you actually, because the way you go on every single person, including these are. Do you know what the funny thing is? They keep coming out with this rhetoric, white people, right? And they're white themselves. So you're slagging yourselves off as well because you're white. It's so ironic. I'm not
Like
taking.
Lee said, it's the self-loathing white liberals, isn't it?
Yeah, but
exactly what Lee said.
yeah. Roy, listen, we have. I just want to check and make sure Lee has verified first. So it is Jack. So we'll bring Jack on. Yeah, Jack is good to go. We got someone else in the chat there, in the studio there, Lee. Will. They're calling themselves Will. I've got a suspicion it's because they've got one of those Lego avatars. We'll see anyway. You have to go into the private chat there, Will. There's the private chat is there. You'll have to verify your identity with Lee. So he will check that out there now. Right, but listen, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it, Toro Doctor.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
No, it's great, and it's nice to get your insight on it as well. Listen, if they,
I'll hopefully be back on Twitter at some point. I'm still banned. I'm into week 6.
Listen, that platform is becoming a joke.
It's horrendous. I'm on week 6 of a 24-hour ban because I had a Deadpool profile picture pointing a gun at the head of a teddy bear, and I'd changed the head teddy bear to Chibnall's head, and it was apparently inciting violence. So 6 weeks.
Right, we just got rid of. I can't believe that just happened. I'm actually going to take a screenshot of that and throw that up on Twitter. You're a disgusting, vile little scumbag, saying that to Lee. I kind of knew by the account, but I just wanted to make sure. But the vile little trolls are at it again. They've just made a homophobic slur towards Lee. Disgusting, vile little scumbag. I banned them from the studio anyway. I'm only back. It's my first night back, and they're already off. Well, let this be a word of warning to you all now, you little morons, yeah? Right? We won't be tolerating that bull anymore. And if you think by coming on, right, that you're going to somehow upset me or everybody here, well, you've got it wrong now, right? Because I've had a lot of time to think since I've been on my break, yeah? And the one thing that I've came to realize is that you empty-headed morons thrive on attention, and you won't be getting it anymore. So this is the way it'll be done, yeah? Every Tardis zone talks, you verify yourself. If you don't verify and we find out you're a little troll, you're kicked. It's as simple as that. There is no room for any abuse in my chat or any abuse to my moderators or my friends. I'm not going to tolerate it anymore. So yous are done. Yous are spent force. Yous will not be getting a reaction out of me or any of my followers anymore. We are done with you pieces of crap. Now kindly remove yourselves from the fandom as well, because you do not represent this fandom. You never have. You are an absolute disgrace and a stain on this fandom, and you really need to grow the fuck up, because I tell you now, in 10 years time, right, when yous are adults, yeah, the real life out there is going to chew yous up and spit yous back out again. So I cop on pretty fast now, kids, because, you know, life is hard. And if you think now, because you have it easy, that it's not going to be harder when you get older, it will. Trust me, it gets a lot harder. And a lot of yous, unfortunately, will not be able to handle it. A lot of yous will probably end up alcoholics, and a lot of yous will probably end up, you know,
they'll go running for their little safe spaces. He's probably sat behind a keyboard. Little B sat behind his keyboard.
Well, we will be living in a society soon where everybody be in their own little bubble, because they're all fragile human beings. They can't take anybody.
Sat in his mum's underwear.
Oh, no, ridiculous they are. Right, well, we've got Jack waiting, and I think Jack has been verified. Lee, Jack has
Yep.
been verified, hasn't he? Yeah, he has. He's a little bit nervous, but we'll ease him in. We'll ease him in. Right. Okay.
Well,
Thank
you.
you.
You take care, my friend.
No problem. Listen, I'll see you. I'll see you over the weekend anyway. Because
Certainly will.
I'm on over the weekend as well. So you have look after yourself and stay safe, pal.
You too, mate. Take care.
Talk. See you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
And that was the Toro Doctor. Alpha Omega with $10 super chat says, welcome back. Thank you very much, Alpha Omega. Right, let's bring him on. It's the one and only Jack.
Hello.
Hey, Jack. How are you?
Fine, you?
I'm good. I'm good. So what
Sorry,
would you
well, I think you better start. I'm not really too sure.
Right, well, we were talking. Okay, we've been talking about obviously we've been talking about rumors tonight. The Doctor Who rumors. We've been talking about whether we think Doctor Who is going to get to the 60th, and we were also talking about whether the next Doctor will be a woman or a man. So you can pick from any of those topics there, and we'll go from there. Actually, I'll ask you first. What do you think? Do you think the next Doctor? Do you think the next Doctor is going to be a woman or a man? What do you think the BBC will do?
I mean, from what I heard, that whole thing where they're having to sell a lot to just keep themselves going, I don't know if they're going to take another risk with it being a woman. I think they might just play the safe card and make it a man.
Yeah, I mean, look, at this stage, you've heard my thoughts on it. I actually think they need to do that. I think they've gone past the point of no return. I mean, they've done season 11 is where I think most of the damage was done anyway. But then when you bring in the timeless children, then in series 12, obviously it's gonna upset the rest of the fandom that's stuck around. So I think they really do need to revert back. Who would you cast if you had the choice yourself, right? If you could make the decision on who the next Doctor was going to be, and who would you pick?
Well, it would depend really, because if I had the woke brigade basically pointing a gun at me and saying it can't be a white man, I think I'd have to go with. I always struggle to pronounce his name, but he does the Crystal Maze and the IT crowd he's most known for.
Richard. I say
Yeah.
he said the name wrong. It's Richard Awadi. I think it's
Yeah.
it's the way it's pronounced. Yeah, I agree with you. I like him.
I think he has a lot of qualities that would make him very alien and eccentric and very British as well. So I think he'd be great.
Right, but here's the problem that everybody has. Now, I'm with you on this. I actually think he would be a good choice. I love them in the IT crowd, and I have watched actually the Crystal Maze, and he's in a couple of movies as well, which I like. But here's the problem that people have with him, right? And I want to hear your opinion on it because I have an opinion on it, and then I'll tell you mine after you tell me yours. But a lot of people say that the only thing that his downfall would be is that he wouldn't be able to do the serious stuff. Now, in fairness, I've seen him in the IT crowd, as I've said. He was in a movie with Ben Stiller called The Watch, but he kind of played a funny character, and that wasn't really serious. Now, I have seen him on the Crystal Maze, and he can get a bit quite stroppy, and he does come across as, he could play sinister. But what do you, to the people out there that actually think that he's not good enough, what would you say? Do you agree with them, or do you think he could pull off the serious parts of the role? Because let's be honest, there are scenes where he would have to get angry and he'd have to be serious within the moment. Do you think he could do it?
I would say to those people, I'm not the biggest Classic Who expert because I didn't grow up with it, but from what I've gone back and seen, nobody thought that Sylvester McCoy could do it. because he was a children's pantomime actor. He was silly and goofy, and he ended up being one of the most manipulative, dark, sinister doctors we ever had. And he used his kind of lightheartedness and clownishness to trick his enemies into a false sense of security.
Yeah, I mean, look, Charlotte, actually, because we have been watching Classic Who, and we did do a Sylvester McCoy story a good while back, but that was one of the points she brought up, and you're right, a lot of people didn't think he could do it, but he was highly he manipulated Ace on so many occasions. It was unbelievable, and he could manipulate people into doing what he wanted. And you're right, in that aspect, you know, it could work. Me personally, I'm with you. I think he could do the dark and the serious part of the role, but I do think he brings that quirkiness to him. Listen, they don't even have to do much, even with him. I mean, listen, this guy could actually pick his own costume, because even the way he dresses. He dresses kind of like a doctor. He wears these mad-looking suits, and they're deadly.
I kept thinking like a burgundy frock coat with a sort of classic traditional doctor costume.
Yeah, I think it could work. I really do believe in him, but I don't think they go down that route. I think they're going to go big. I think they need a big name.
I was thinking to myself, I was watching one of your streams and you were mentioning the whole kind of the hatred towards white people that's going along, and it kind of it was going through my head. It was like, you know, had they not gone down this woke direction, I think a coloured male doctor was bound to happen naturally at some point anyway. Like, you know, I don't think it would have raised any eyebrows. I think people would have been like, oh, I like him. Yeah, he's a well-respected British actor. You know, but nowadays, when they cast a person of colour, you always kind of think at the back of your head, oh, they're just doing it for woke points.
Well, that's what I mean, because they have that strategy and inclusion thing, and that's why people are always going to assume that. I know Lenny Henry kicked up stink about it, obviously, when he was in the series. He did an article, and he actually said that the BBC would cast a dog before they cast a black actor to play the Doctor, but then they cast Joe Martin. Now, you know, on the one hand, you could say Lenny Henry has a point, but then they went and they cast a female doctor, and she was a black woman. So, I mean, you know, again, I will say this, for me personally, you have to get the best person in, and it doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter what their skin color is. It doesn't matter what their religious beliefs are, or their political beliefs are, or whatever any of that other nonsense is. They just have to be the best for the role. And this is what the BBC have kind of lost when they cast everybody, whether it's a bit part in the show or whether they're casting a guest star. There's always an agenda behind it, and you know you're not casting the best. Sure, if you look at actually series 11 and 12, bar the guest stars that he brought in, if you look at all the cast that he brought in, the supporting cast that weren't big names. I mean, they're actors and actresses that were on shows like Hollyoaks and all of this other stuff. Like, they're not high caliber actors. So again, the quality of the show, you know, dips if the people that you're getting are not as talented as the people that you are always hired, you know, that sort of way. So
yeah,
you're always going to have problems, especially when you get a showrunner that seems to be doing things on the cheap. If you ask me, like, he's bringing in all of these actors and actresses that I don't think, you know, have the acting chops to be in a show like Doctor Who. Some of them, as I said, as I pointed out, came from soaps, came from shows like that level. So I I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Michael Sheen's name has been mentioned, Jack.
Yeah,
What
and
do you
I
think?
love him from Good Omens.
And I mean, he is a big name. And listen, if the rumors are true, Chris Chibnall has been told that the next Doctor must be a man. Now, if HBO Max have flexed their muscles and basically, because there is where people are speculating, it could be down to HBO Max flexing their muscles. If that is the case, right? Obviously, they're gonna go with a big name. If it wasn't a Michael Sheen, right? What other big name, bar Richard? What other big name do you think could fill the boots of the Doctor, or bring? Who do you think would bring some of the fans back? Because remember, that's what I think this is all about. It's the next choice, the next casting is all going to be about, well, is this person going to bring fans back? So besides Michael Sheen and Richard, is there any other name out there that you'd like to throw out that you think should be considered?
I mean, I know this might sound a bit cliche, but I remember everyone being quite excited when Chris Marshall's name was mentioned.
Do you think they'll hire someone like Chris Marshall, though?
Well, I don't know, but in terms of me and a lot of people, I think we've said that they could cast someone better than Capaldi, but it's not going to make any difference if the writing doesn't get better.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, Chris Chibnall, again, we can talk about all of this, but doesn't it really come down to whether Chris Chibnall's still going to be at the helm? I mean, if he's still at the helm, as we have pointed out, it doesn't matter who they get in, because I don't think he's good enough. I just really don't think he's good enough. But I'll ask you for your show, for showrunner, who would you, if you were to replace Chris Chibnall, who would you bring in a showrunner?
Oh, I mean, I'd quite love a shot at it, to be honest, but I won't toot my own horn. Honestly, I'd need to do my research into people, but I just like someone like Russell T Davies who loved the show and who has a creative direction that he wants to take it, or she, or whoever, just someone who loves the show above everything else. But honestly, I don't think I've researched enough to call anyone specifically. A lot of people said Neil Gaiman might be good, and he did do Good Omens, which I thought was pretty good.
Yeah, Neil Gaiman's name has been mentioned. Another name actually that's been mentioned as well is Neil Cross. What's his name has also been mentioned. Toby Whithouse.
I was just going to say him. I did originally think he would be good, but because I did like that show Being Human, but it also had a few woke things in it towards the end that annoyed me.
See, this is the problem. No matter what showrunner they get in, though, we'll have to because remember, BBC do have that inclusion strategy thing, so they will have to do that. See, here's the thing, though: if you can get a showrunner like RTD that knows how to do it properly, then I don't think we'll have a problem. The problem is we have someone at the moment that hasn't got a clue what they're doing, and it's just shoehorning everything in these characters as well, unnecessarily killing them off. There you go. You got your 20 seconds of representation off, which is sort of attitude, cavalier attitude. I mean, there has to be more thought put into this, and if you're going to be doing characters like this, you have to, as I've always said, you've got to write them and treat them with respect, and I don't feel that Chris Chibnall actually does that. But listen, we have run out of time, and I know you've been nervous, but you've done actually quite well, so you should be proud of yourself, man.
I was just going to say one last thing,
go ahead.
real quick, is I just think it's quite disgraceful because something like Doctor Who, every Doctor Who fan has their own Doctor Who story in their heart, and there's stories that, you know, I want to tell personally. I've got some ideas for a Cyberman story and everything, and I just wish the show could be more, hey, let's get some fans in to write some episodes and see how that goes. You know, instead of just bringing in clueless people who don't care about it.
Yeah, I look, I agree with you. It's like I just want someone in that actually shows it a bit of care and attention, and that's all we've ever wanted. But Chris Chibnall doesn't seem to do that. But listen, thanks for coming on. I really do appreciate your thoughts and your opinions. Is there anybody you'd like to shout out or your social medias before you head off?
I'd just like to shout out you and Lee and all the others. I'm really glad that you've got your channel back.
Thanks very much. I really appreciate you coming on, seriously. And don't forget, we're back on Friday again, Jack, for the same thing. So if you've got anything else to add on Friday, you're more than welcome to come back on. You do know that.
Oh yeah, I'll try and be there.
No problem. Right, listen, you look after yourself. Talk to you soon.
You too, Noel. Bye.
See you later. Bye-bye. Right, that was Jack. Okay, let's see. We've got right. Let me see. See, we've got 2 new names now. So I just and I don't think we've been able to verify. See, I just don't want any nonsense because, you know, we've already had one troll try to come on tonight. I'm not going to tolerate it because, you know, all we're just doing is giving people an opinion, giving them a chance to come on and have their opinion, you know. So I don't want any drama. So let me see. Right. So Lee, is any of them verified? Any of them verified? Let me know. Yeah, well done, Jack. Everybody is and no problem, Jack. You're more than welcome on anytime. Remember that. Right, where about the other one? Because there's another person in the chat as well. Because they're before the other person. They have, right, well then, if they... Right, hold on, I just want to check out this Twitter account. I'll check myself. I'm sorry, the only reason why we do this is because the last time we brought someone on, they actually shared inappropriate images, and they tried to use copyright music as well to have the stream removed. So we've taken precautions. So just bear with me for a second until I try and verify. Now, listen, if I decide not to bring you on tonight, you're more than welcome to try on Friday. But I might actually just leave at that because we did say Jack was going to be the last yoke, and Lee is highly doubtful. And yeah, I mean, I haven't seen you in the chat, and you have just shown up. So my suggestion is, as Lee has said, if you are in the chat for the next couple of weeks and we see that you are okay, because that's what happens. We don't just bring people on that we don't know, because obviously if the problems that we said we had before. So if you are kind of new accounts on Twitter, that then the alarm bells start to ring a little bit. So I'm going to say not tonight, but if you are around the chat the next couple of weeks and you seem to be genuine, we have no problem of bringing you on. But I'm going to say not tonight, because obviously we can't verify any of you, and unless, listen, every guest gets verified. So if we can't verify, then unfortunately we can't bring you on. So we're going to say, as I said, if you want to come on, don't forget, participate in the chat and stuff like that over the next few weeks, and we'll see what yous are like. We get to know yous in the chat, and we have no problem bringing yous on. A lot of the people that we bring on are in the chat a long time, and some of the new voices that we bring on do be in the chat a long time before we bring them on. So I'm going to stick to that, because I don't want any of this nonsense with the channel happening again. But we'll bring on Lee just to give his final thoughts about everything that we spoke about tonight. And as I said, once we see us in the chat, participating and stuff like that, we have no problem bringing you on. But I'm not taking the risk after what happened tonight in the private chat anyway. We had someone trying to come on earlier, and then when they didn't get their way, they used the homophobic slur. So so we're not gonna put up with that. So let's bring Lee back on anyway.
Hello.
I mean, listen, I'm only back one night, right?
It doesn't take much to trigger them, does it?
And it started already again. I mean, it's sad and pathetic. Listen, kids, you need to kind of get a life now, because I'm kind of getting bored of yous are crap, right? Listen, myself and Lee are not actually stupid anyway. It's the same which is on Twitter, right? Bottom line is, right, yous are still trying to add me on it and then yous are trying to add me on with new accounts that you set up. Yous really think that I'm that stupid. Listen, don't judge me at your own stupidity and your own standards, yeah? I'm cleverer than the whole lot you's put together, yeah? So when I see a new account that's only being set up, I know that's a troll. I'm not an idiot, yeah?
I will say that, I mean, it's possible, but I would say, especially to the person I was speaking to in private.
Well, when it comes to me, we can 98%.
Yeah,
it's not.
I would just ask, for them to, if they are genuine, just to understand, we've had problems before with trolls, and just saying you're not a troll doesn't mean you're not a troll. It doesn't mean you are one. But at the same time, just please bear with us until either this dies down, or you come in, you chat in the chat room, on the stream a bit more, or add us on Twitter and talk to us, get to know us. That's probably the best way. We just at the moment can't take the risk, because shit happens and it kind of throws everything on a wobble. So it's awkward, because I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, but people want to try and piss on the parade and ruin it for everybody, so blame them, not us.
Yeah, right now I'm not taking any risks. As I said, I'm not here for drama anymore. I was never here for drama anyway, but we just want to be able to do what we do. So to those two people that were in, as Lee rightly pointed out, I'm not saying you are trolls, but I cannot verify user accounts. So
yeah, especially if your account is locked, protected, we can't see what you're saying.
So what I'd suggest is that if you participate in the chat as we have suggested, and we see it in the chat a lot more, then we know that you're genuine then, and then you will obviously get the chance to come on. But we're not going to be putting up with any nonsense. We've already had one troll, and I just want to say to those sad little individuals out there, as I said, you know, it's time for you to move on now. I'm not going to be giving you any more oxygen. His wife protected me account. I don't want that to do with just. Don't want to give you any more oxygen, and you won't be getting any more oxygen after this anyway. Done with you all. So go on, move on. Go and target someone else, some other poor little sod. The next time you target someone that'll actually bite you back, that's the thing. So you will pick on the wrong person one day. But it's time for you to move on now, because this ship has sailed. You know, I'm done with you. Got better things to be doing. Like the Tardis Zone talks and giving people a chance. Listen to the two guys that were there. Again, my apologies. As I said, if you are genuine, apologies. But again, only one night back, and we're back to square one with these morons. But there you go. What can you do? What can you do? But you know, we're back. We're going nowhere. I've always said that. We're going nowhere. We're going to keep doing what we do. But don't forget also to subscribe to the Irish Geek. We're going to be doing a lot more on that channel as well. And don't forget to tune in here, because we'll have the new Who, classic Who watch-alongs. And on Friday, we're back with another Tardis Zone Talks.
Hey.
So, yeah, plenty going on. But, anything else you want to add? I mean, the guests were all good tonight. Every guest that came on was
always good. Great points as usual. And, it's really nice to hear some familiar voices back again. And great stuff.
Yeah, I was. I actually, you're doing the right thing now. No, exactly. Look, I even said to someone that tagged me in a post on Twitter, I said, listen, do me a favor. I'm not giving out around, but don't tag me into any post that's highlighting these morons, because at the end of the day, they thrive on us responding. And a tweet made me realize that when someone that's being out there, and you can see how desperate they are trying to get attention, because they keep throwing out these bait tweets. And then they literally put out a tweet that made me realize exactly what they're about. Listen, these people only thrive because people keep responding back to them, and people keep calling them out. That's what they want, right? So if we stop doing that, they've no oxygen. What are they going to do? They're going to be screaming into a void. Nobody's going to listen to them. So just ignore them. We've got better things to be highlighting. For example, as I've said, Chris Chibnall, you know, he's still around. You know, we still have people trying to add it. It's unbelievable. Well, you're getting kicked because, as I said, you're not even an avatar. They're not even trying half of the time. But what was I saying? See, I lost my train of thought there now. That happens. Anyway, yeah, as I said, look, Chris Chibnall's still going to be in the job. So, you know, the end of the day, his writing is bad. So we need to be concentrating on stuff like that, not some moron, tantless idiot on Twitter that's trying to make a name for himself by setting up hate groups and all of this rubbish. We don't need to be even acknowledging the twat anymore, because without us acknowledging him, he's nothing. And he'll try desperately to get our attention, which he's trying to do right now with some of the tweets that he's putting out.
Yeah, so lying about being an admin for Big Fish, trying to provoke us. It's hilarious.
I know.
We're not biting.
So he's desperate. He's desperate. So just, as I said to people, don't tag me in any post related to that person, because don't give him any more oxygen. That's what he wants. So we need to stop. Some people just
get a life.
Have to be honest. God loves a trier, all right. You know. So whoever's trying to add themselves to the studio there, we have finished taking the guests tonight. There's no more guests we're taking tonight. We're actually just about to finish up. Sorry about that if you're not a troll, but I suspect you probably are. Yeah, Chris Chibnall's what we should be concentrating on. The writing, how poor he is. You know, they're the things that we should be highlighting, not idiots in the fandom that are looking for attention, because they're distracting us from the real issues. And the real issues are Chris Chibnall's writing. Yes, it is a pain. Listen, I've spoke about the mental health side and all of this, but nobody seems to be listening. So, I mean, I can scream to the rooftops that YouTubers need to come together and highlight this and talk about, but nobody seems to want to do it or has the desire to do it. So, look, we concentrate on the things that we can actually, make a difference with. And, there's plenty of streams that we could do about Chris Chibnall's writing, his plot holes, the flaws that he has. We've already seen other YouTubers do it. We can keep highlighting it because he is what's wrong with this show and he needs to go. So, I mean, concentrate on him. The others, eventually, listen, eventually Twitter will get them. Eventually they'll cross the line, and some of them already are, right? We're still getting reports off Twitter of accounts that were reported back months ago and all. We're still getting reports. These accounts are slowly but surely being taken down one by one because they're violating Twitter rules left, right, and center. Listen, they're being exposed for the bigots and the bullies that they are. We don't need to keep, as I said, keep poking them or keep giving them attention. I think it's time that we ignore the J-bots and ignore people like we were talking about, because people like him, they thrive on all the attention, and then they get this big massive ego and they have all that support that think that they're gods. I seen a tweet there, he's a god apparently, like this ridiculous complex that they have. So they want the attention because without it they're nobodies, and they know that. So it's about time we let them realize how much of a nobodies that they are by ignoring them. And as soon as we ignore them, then they're going to be screaming into an empty void, because we won't have to react to their shit anymore because they're talking a lot of crap. Let them call me racist. Let them call me a bigot. Let them call me whatever they want. I don't care anymore. Let them say what they want about me, right? At the end of the day, I have a support network here. Yous all know what I'm about. I don't care about a few voices out there that have tried to turn people against me or try to take me down. Right? I'm still here. We're still fighting. We're still talking about the issues that we need to talk about. But I'm not going to waste any more time on morons like that anymore. All of them. They're all a bunch of talentless hacks and nobodies, and they know it. And that's why they do what they do, because they know. Because without us, they have nothing. Right? And I'm done giving them. Right? I'm done. Don't need that anymore in my life. Do you know what? I'm actually at peace with myself for once now. Since I've blocked them and had nothing to do with them and protected me account, I've had peace. And that's the way I want it. And you know what? I'd suggest that you all do the same as well. Just block the morons. Just get rid of it. Look, I know people say, well, blocking them, you're letting them. Fuck it. Let them think they won something. That's the thing. That's how actually sad their lives are. When they celebrate that you blocked them, that should put a smile on your face, because your point is proven. They're nobodies. The fact that you blocked them gives their lives some sort of meaning, shows how pathetic they really are. So just block them. Let them be pathetic. Let them scream into the void. Because, at the end of the day, the louder voices eventually will come through. And we are the loud voice, and we're starting to get louder now. We must continue to do what we do. So don't give them any more attention, But look, I can't tell any people out. Well, I really can't tell people what to do. But I would urge people to just stop it now. You don't give them any more oxygen. We got plenty of things going on in the fandom, plenty of things going on in the show to keep us distracted. And right now, Doctor Who needs us, right? It does. It needs us, right? It needs fans like us to highlight the issues so we can get. And right now, we are screaming into a void. Someone will say, "Well, we're all screaming it." Yeah, you probably have a point, but that doesn't mean we should stop screaming. We've got valid points to make. We're worried about our show. We shouldn't be worried about the others because they're distracting us from what we need to be doing. And that's why I think they do all this all the time, because they want to distract us. And then they think they're smarter than us. But they're not. They never will be. That's the problem. Right, well, I've said enough about them anyway. But Lee, if you want to add that, and you can go ahead, mate. But I've explained now. I'm done. I'm done with these people. It's
Yeah, I mean, look, it was funny because quite independently from you, actually, like before you went off offline, that I was done with all of this as well, and it seemed like we were in some simpatico about this, because look, no one's going to change anybody's mind. It just goes round and round and round and round. It's vicious and it's pointless and it's stupid, and I just don't want to play anymore. It was fun for a while. It's fun whilst it lasted, but it's gotten to the point now that I just don't need it in my life. I don't care. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they do. For me, they're like intellectual pissants who have nothing to offer. They want to piss about like little babies, and be all peery and act like they're in a school playground. Let them. I'm not interested. I've got other things to think about, other things to do. And it doesn't require revolving around their little egos. And
exactly.
that's it.
And you're much happier within yourself as well when you don't interact with them, because even
just being forced to look at them makes me physically ill.
Or they bring you down, even if you know what I mean. So it's just better off ignoring. And when I mean bringing,
they're nobodies. They offer nothing to my life.
Yeah,
they offer no insight.
Except negativity, and nobody needs that negativity in their life. So what do? If there's negative people in your life, you cut them out.
Yeah, exactly.
So cut them out. So I'd urge everybody, if you're having problems with these people, instead of fighting them all the time, and I know you feel like you have, you know me, I always would jump on when someone say it and defend myself, right? But there comes a point where, yeah, I can keep going and defending myself, yeah, but it's becoming the same old shit all the time. Why do I need to defend myself in the first place? Everybody knows that comes to my channel will know who I am, right? They can judge for themselves. I don't care what 20, 30 people on Twitter think about me. And yes, those 20, 30 people have caused an awful lot of damage to the reputation of the channel or whatever. But we're still here. We're still going. So even people that originally weren't sure about the channel, weren't sure about me because of what they heard, have come on here and they've become subscribers and stuff. So I don't care what. Let them scream. Let them say what they want. If they think I'm this big, bad, ugly bully, that's all of these labels. Let them. All you guys know what I'm like. And the rest of YouTube will know. I don't hide that. So fuck them. You don't need it. None of us need the drama. So that's it. The nerd archive 96 at Tardis on probably being gone to watch Fury of the Hoovians Part 2 later, guys. Thanks for the live stream. No problem. Yeah. Gary did mention on his Twitter about Fury of the Hoovians stream. We haven't heard that since, but obviously he has been busy. But I do know he has it in mind now to do another one. So
yeah, it's coming. Don't know when, but we'll find out very soon to the date, I guess.
We're not gonna assume that we're going to be guests.
No, but it would be nice again.
Yeah,
if he does
but even if we're not, still support it. I'll be there in the chat anyway, because they're always good streams. But I'm pretty sure we'll be there because he has us in the chat. So when he announces it, he puts it in the chat and tells us to join. So as I said, I'm pretty sure we'll be there, but I don't want to obviously jump the gun just in case he wants to change it up a bit, which he's entitled to do. But I'll support him no matter what, because Fury the Hoovian streams have been very popular. I actually wish he'd do one once a month, to be honest with you, because the numbers on them, look at the numbers on those streams. They've actually done very well. They're actually a very popular stream. So and it'd be good that you could bring on different Hoovians all over the community, But it's brilliant that he does them. Fair play to him. He's a big channel, and he does bring on YouTubers like myself on these streams, and he's a very good supporter of this channel. As I said, he's even come into the live chat a few times. He's been on the channel, and he's even dropped a super chat.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Gary, I have a lot of time for Gary. You know, so yeah, whatever. Look at, and as I said, when it comes to Doctor Who news as well, you know, if some of you haven't, which I say most of you are from Gary's channel anyway, see, because that's how much he's helped me. But if you aren't, and you aren't subscribed to Gary's channel, please.
What is wrong with you?
Because you know, when it comes to Doctor Who news as well,
Yeah,
he's one of the, I would say, for me, he's top tier.
yeah.
Definitely.
The godfather of nerddom.
Yeah, I'm probably second tier, maybe third tier. Probably blow me on trumpet there a little bit, but man.
I think you know. I mean, the fact that a lot of
I'm top tier as well.
a lot of people have run with your stories. You know, you've given them plenty of content.
Certainly the news that we've put out, most of it has been reported now, so that's always a good sign. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be right. That's the thing about it, and it's the same when Gary puts his news out as well. He always says it, you know, with a caveat. He always makes sure to let people know that what he's putting out is rumor and speculation, and then he'll also tell you from which source it comes from, and if it comes from the same source that did the Timeless Children stuff, as talked about the Timeless Child, about the retcon, well then if he ever gives you his news from that source, I'd sit up and take note, definitely. So I mean, that's what makes him top tier. I mean, that news, I mean, nobody believed him. You know, it was just, even when he was putting it out himself, I think he even said he found it hard to believe. That was the thing. Nobody thought Chibnall would do something like this. I even went and did a couple of streams where I actually thought I had figured it out, because they were doing something with the comics and they were doing something with something else. And I linked the three of them together. And I said, Gary, I think that's what they actually are doing. But no, he maintained that this is what he was told. And I was like, when that happened, when the Timeless Children happened, I was, yeah. And he's all heard me reaction. Then Gary was in shock, because even though he put it out, and he even said it the night of that stream, he said even though he put it out, he didn't really, you know what I mean? You put news out, but you're not, you know, some news you put out, you're kind of certain it's going to happen. Do you know that sort of way, Lee? But then there's other news you get, and you're like, okay, this could happen, but deep down, because you're a fan, nah, this can't, it's not going to happen. And that's what his reaction was. I mean, he was stunned. I mean, when we tuned into his stream, he was literally there open mouthed. He just couldn't really say anything. He was devastated. He just didn't show it as much as I. He kept it under control, and fair play to him. But you could see it in his eyes. He was absolutely devastated. Everybody was. And I didn't believe him. Because, and I don't, you know, I'm not saying he wouldn't have believed himself, but I say he was thinking that this news was a little bit, nah, man, this won't happen. Because, well, it did. So, and his source, especially if it's that he mentions that source, I sit up and take notice. Because, you know, he was spot on about that. Now, the latest stuff that's come out, we'll just have to see what goes on with that. But I tell you one thing, Doctor Who's future is uncertain right now, by the sounds of all of this stuff coming out. And we did speak about on this channel that cancellation was on the table after Tim Davey had come in, because he was going to do an internal review, and Doctor Who was one of those shows that was going to be reviewed. And if this is a decision if this is a thing that's been put on the table because they think this is the best, well then I have to be honest, and I'm going to say it, I'll be devastated, because, you know, we've had Doctor Who since 2005, and I don't think we should have even been in this position. I do honestly believe after Stephen Moffat, if he had to chose someone else, a showrunner, I don't think we'd be in the position that we're in now. But they did.
That's because he was in the right clique, and that kind of shit has got to stop. The BBC's diversion and inclusion and all this kind of stuff. It's all lip service anyway, because it's always the same people who go down the same pub who get the same jobs.
Yeah.
End of. And it's always been that way with the BBC, always. And by dint of accident and hubris, that he got the job because he happened to be swanning about, like a sycophant with the right in crowd. He got the job. That's how I see it.
Yeah,
I really do.
Well, I don't know, man.
Chancer.
But even Gary doubted the news about the time. Yeah, that's what it's. Yeah,
because we didn't want to believe it to be true.
We didn't want to believe it because he's a fan. He's like myself. Nobody wanted to believe it. Listen, I was strong about it. I said to him that night, "I'm sorry, Gary." Even because, but I was devastated. But he could understand where I was coming from because he was having the same doubts. He was having the same doubts because nobody, seriously though, this is the thing, no matter what BBC have done to Doctor Who or the criticism that we've given them over the years, right? Nobody in their right mind thought they would go and do something like, let's be honest, nobody did. We thought, okay, they don't treat it right, but they wouldn't treat it with outright disrespect.
Mm. And that's what it was, absolutely.
And they did, right? So that's what everybody was shocked. And I mean, again, Gary's words, Gary's face, just if you haven't seen that stream, you should go and watch it. His face tells you everything you need to know. I actually broke down. He held it in, but I actually broke down. I was devastated. I just couldn't take it. And I know people laughed at me. It's just a TV show. But again, this is the thing. That's what's wrong with you fans. Yeah, you think it's just a TV show because you will move on to the next thing. I grew up with this. I grew up with the character of the Doctor. Grew up, it had a positive impact in my life. It was a personal thing, like with a lot of fans that have been watching Doctor Who a long time. And it was devastating. And you will never understand that, and that's what separates us. And this is why I always say you are fans, because you don't have that emotional attachment at all to the show. It's for you guys. All it is about, right? What character can they bring in? What's the sexual orientation of that character? What color skin has that character got? Okay, what can we do with this character? Can we ship this character with that? That's all yous are interested in. Yous aren't interested in storytelling. Yous aren't interested in character development. Yous are not interested in that. Yous will never reach that emotional level that we have with the show, because yous have grown up in a quite sterile and cold environment, society. So you aren't used to the way we are with TV shows. I mean, a lot of you laugh at, and it's not just Doctor.
Well, we were fans. I mean, I was a fan of the show during a time when it was the least fashionable thing on earth to love Doctor Who. Where, as I said before on this channel, I went to a school summer fete dressed as the Seventh Doctor, and I had the shit beaten the hell out of me. It was the least fashionable thing in the universe to be a Whovian at that point at school during the 1980s. It really was. And I suffered for my love for Doctor Who. I stood up for myself. I thought, fuck this, I'm going to do that. And I did. And I paid the price. And that's the level of commitment I had to this show. And I still do. They don't get that. They will never get that, because they grew up in a time where it was the most fashionable thing on TV.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe now that it's probably at its most unpopular that it's been since, maybe they've kind of got an idea of what it was like for us back then. Except for the fact that these people now in their sort of 20s, and You know, they think they're on the right side of history, so they're absolutely convinced of their own supremacy.
Yeah.
And it's so misguided. It's like, no, look, you don't really get it. Look, a lot of these people have grown up with it since they were kids, but you know, double that time. You double that time. I've been growing up with it for over 40 years.
And listen, I'm not saying that fans from 2005 onwards haven't got an emotional connection.
No, but I would say to them, love something.
About the
yeah, but I would say love something for 40 years. Love something for 40 years to the point that you treasure it so much, and then something happens to it that completely changes it. And then see how you cope with that.
Exactly. See, this is the thing. It doesn't just happen in Doctor Who. It's happened with Star Wars as well. And people are saying, well, why is people crying about Star Wars? Same thing. You've got to understand. Listen, I urge you go back and watch the actual. There's a couple of trailers. Me dad reacts to the Force Awakens trailer. Now, this was before he seen the movie. But he was an old guy, and he was obviously a kid at the time when the original movies came out, right? So this guy obviously grew up with Star Wars. It was a childhood thing for him. And he's literally sitting there, right? Now, the Force Awakens trailer is actually brilliant. Now, whether you like the movie or not, the trailer was wow. When I seen the trailer originally, I was like, holy shit, this could actually be good. I thought, oh my God, we're probably going to get a Star Wars movie that I'm not going to be bored with, right? Because you know me, right? And I'm watching this reaction video, and it's a daughter, and she's recording her father watching the Force Awakens trailer. And as soon as he sees the Millennium Falcon, that's it, Falcon. He breaks down and he's in tears. That's what it's about. That's someone reliving their childhood again. That's all those memories. That's what you don't get. People associate memories to certain episodes, to certain stories. You know, they get that that's what it's all about. Yous will never get to that point because you, as I said, yous are all about, you know, all of this other nonsense. But when I seen that father, and I wonder how he felt when he actually went to see the movie. It would have been interesting to see his reaction then. But the trailer, he was absolutely overcome with emotion that he broke down because his childhood memories were coming flooding back, and he was associated, you know, it made him feel like a kid again. Not now. Now look at it's the same with Doctor Who. Doctor Who,
it's like they squeezed the magic out of it, and trying to give this back to you, going, look, we squeezed the magic out of it. Hey, isn't it still great? And it's like, no, you've taken the magic out of it. And it's like, but it's the same thing, you bigot.
But
you're crazy. That's gaslighting. That is gaslighting.
Exactly.
It's like, no, you've destroyed it because you've tried through this over self-conscious need to pander and to make it for all people. You made it for no one or a very small group of people. So you've actually turned something that was populist to something niche, to needy teenagers and 20-nothings. And really, it's like you've sifted out, filtered it down, boiled it down to its barest bones to serve to people who seem to lack empathy, emotional intelligence, passion, to people who are more on board with off the peg political notions handed down to them without any sort of critical ability left in their bodies. I don't understand. It's so reduced. It's a reductionist period of Doctor Who where it's more about pandering to a political zeitgeist, which is so contrived and ultimately doomed to failure, rather than focusing on what made it great in the first place. You know, a fun roll up through time and space. Everyone could get on board with, from granny to infant. And now it's for 20-nothings who just want to be on Twitter all the time, signaling their virtue and how wonderful they are, and how everyone else who disagrees with them is somehow evil. You know, that is so divisive. It's
I know.
now being used in a divisive way to separate and divide people rather than bring people together.
I agree. And listen, we could have this conversation all night, but I'm gonna actually leave it there tonight because the two streams are catching up with me now. My shoulder has been playing.
Get out of here.
The last couple of days as well, which is bleeding annoying me, and it's starting to creep up on me now because I've been sitting on this bloody chair for over 5 hours or something now. Jesus. But listen, that's all they do. You're right. They pander to Twitter, SJWs, Alpha Omega. But listen, I want to thank Alpha Omega and Kip Garbage for the super chats. I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. I want to thank all my guests that actually came on tonight. Well done to every single person that came on. And thank you for a good stream, because without you guys, you know, it wouldn't this wouldn't work. So thank you. And Lee, nice to have you back, mate. And thanks for coming on and keeping an eye. I'm sorry you were subjected to that. I know, but again, no, it doesn't matter.
A thick skin goes a long way, and these SJWs on Twitter should learn a lesson.
I know, but here's the thing. You know, Casey Stoney said this the other day. She's Manchester United's lady manager, right? And one of our players was racially abused, and she says, the footballer says, it's water off a duck's back, right? And she said, and this is true, and this is why I'm bringing it up, because, you know, nobody should have, you know, hard skin or whatever to deal, thick skin to deal with this, right? She said it's gut-wrenching and disgusting, right? And nobody should have to tolerate that. So no,
yeah, sticks and stones. You know, I think
I do hear what you're saying. I'm sorry, I have to be ruthless about this. These people are vile scumbags. It's as simple as that. And if do you know what? These people should be exposed for the horrible people that we are. And we will find out, and I will find out, and Lee will find out. We'll find out who actually wrote that slur.
We know who did it.
We'll find out who you are. And I've got a pretty, we've got a pretty good, actually, I would say 99% sure who it is, because it's always the same little twat, right? But I tell you, you know what? One of these days is Perdens will get a visit from police officers, and then we'll see if the little twat continues to do what he does. See, what that little idiot needs, right, is a bit of a fright. And as soon as he gets a bit of a fright off the coppers and knows that the coppers are on his tail, and this is what has to happen. And I'm going to say it again, social media needs to step up now, okay? We're done. We're done. Everybody needs to be able to come onto social media and feel safe. And I mean everybody, by the way. You don't just focus on one group, right? Everybody. There are trolls and there are nasty, vile people out there. There's even pedophiles on social media, okay? There's even porn sites on Twitter. It's absolutely ridiculous, right? They're getting rid of certain accounts on Twitter because apparently they incite violence and all of this rubbish. But yeah, they're leaving on people that are grooming kids on that platform. And by the way, it turns out, and actually Cheryl was the one that told me this and I couldn't believe it, but she actually says that Twitter, it turns out that most of this stuff that was organized, the Capitol building, actually happened on Facebook and Twitter and not Parler at all. So apparently that's come to light, you know, and which the social media app suffered? Parler. Even the CEOs had to step down. Absolutely ridiculous. This is the world that we're living in, folks. Clown world. World.
And this kind of persecution over political ideas and things is, you know, precisely what's gotten Gina Carano back in hot water again. And it's a distortion of the facts. You know, she made a very valid point about how people can be easily manipulated to target and persecute people, pretty much in the same way as the bad guys from Germany did in the 1930s. And she's right. And I'll stand by what she said, you know, and I'm speaking as someone who, you know, lost half of my lineage to the concentration camps. And then you got people calling it anti-Semitic and all this kind of stuff, and it's not true. She actually liked one of my my tweets.
Obviously, I have a slightly different take on it. Me and Lee had a very, let's just say, when we were on the other channel, we had a very, very, not a heated, it wasn't a heated discussion.
But I was right and you were wrong. That's it.
No. We both had slightly different opinions on it, but like, again, we were respectful to each other.
Yeah, it's amazing. We can disagree and still be
here
friends.
Exactly.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
We just thought it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if I didn't like you, I'd let you know, wouldn't I? So
that's true.
But again, social media needs to step up now. There are too many incidents happening, and it needs to stop. And people like the trolls that tried to infiltrate the channel tonight really need to be named and shamed. I was never for naming and shaming these people, but with all the amounts of stuff that's going on, and we've seen it even with Captain Tom Moore when he passed away, these vile, disgusting human beings decided to attack him. They need to be named and shamed, or the police need to be getting involved. Twitter needs to be working. All these social media apps need to be working in conjunction with every police service around the world to make sure that Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is, YouTube is a safe environment for everybody. And I mean everybody. It shouldn't just be a safe environment for certain groups of people or whatever, like they always do. You have to make it a safe environment for everybody. And remember as well, whether we like it or not, yes, social media has given some idiots out there a voice that shouldn't really have a voice. But at the end of the day, who are we to say whether they should or not? And social media needs to remember that as well. There is a thing called freedom of speech, and you just have lost the run yourselves as well. So you need to get back to that as well. Yes, we're all for getting rid of hate crime. We're all for hate speech and all of that. We're all for that. But when you start going after people for ridiculous things, for having a different opinion about certain topics out there, and it's not a hate crime, and then like you're kicking them off your bloody social, then you're going the wrong way about it. You need to stop these people. It's gone too far. We've lost a lot of people along the way that have not returned to social media because of the abuse that they suffered at the hands of some members in this Doctor Who fandom. On the other side, they were harassing women and stuff. They've never returned back to social media. I won't mention the person's name because I don't want to bring that all up again. But there's some vile, disgusting people in this fandom, and Twitter, YouTube, the whole lot, they need to step up. They should not be allowed to create a second, third, fourth, fifth account after being suspended. And if they don't take it seriously, as someone said, listen, again, a referee association fella came out and said it. Mike Dean, by the way, is a referee. He refereed 2 games. There was 2 red cards that were controversial. He and his family received death threats. A referee, and your man made a point. He goes, when is social media and these people going to get involved? Because what is it going to take for a referee to die before they do that? And I'll say the same thing about our fandoms. What's it going to take for Twitter or for this Doctor Who fandom to react to these bullies? Right? Someone to kill themselves before people cop on. These people should not be supported. And the person that we spoke about earlier on, whose name I won't mention, but there's a particular bloke out there, you know who I'm talking about. People like him shouldn't be on social media. They're a danger. They're a danger. But yeah, count after count gets suspended, and they keep coming back like weeds. And social media is not doing their job. Okay, so what's it going to take for a person like him to drive someone to do something, kill themselves or whatever, because they've been driven to it because of all the hate that's directed towards them? Because remember, me and Lee are strong people, right? We can take a lot, and we have taken a lot over these last few years, right? We take the amount of shit that's been thrown our way and sent to us and all of this.
Yeah, not through choice, you know.
Exactly. right? Now we're strong enough, right? But sometimes, we've had our moments, right? But I can guarantee you, there are people out there that are not as strong-minded as us that are being attacked, right? That won't be able to deal with this. Now, some have made the right decision and left social media, others try to hang on to because, they don't want to be run off it, but then in the long run, then the mental health gets affected, and then you're getting into a whole different ball game there. So this is why I'm saying, it's time, and we need to be putting pressure on Twitter. It's all well and good Twitter, thinking that they're doing this, that, and the other, and they're being great and patting themselves on the back. They need to be dealing with the real issues, which is all of the nonsense that's going on their platform. They're actually ridiculous, that they get away with this. Where are people putting them to task? How many more people have to be racially abused or got death threats, because they made a wrong decision in a football match, or people attacking Tom Moore, even though that guy raised 39 million, fought in 2 world wars, was the best of humanity, and these vile, pathetic little creatures went on and attacked himself and his family on the day that he died. And Piers Morgan, listen, no matter what you think about that guy, when he found out about that, you should watch his Good Morning Britain speech that he made. He goes nuclear, and he's absolutely spot on about everything that he said. These people need to be stopped. They need to be charged. There needs to be a criminal, whatever. You listen, if you start finding people big fines, I can guarantee you'll deter some, right? Maybe not them all, because there's some stupid idiots out there. But as soon as they get that big fine, they're obviously not going to be able to pay, but they'll screw up again, then they get prison time. Right? That's what needs to happen. Right? These people don't care. They don't care how far they go. Right? I can guarantee you, if I had to let all that crap get to me and I wasn't here anymore, they'd still be attacking me even though I'm 6 feet under. They don't care. Don't care what damage that they cause. So social media, do your bloody job. Step up to the plate and get rid of these people, because they're not doing anybody any good. Right. I'm going to stop now because I don't want to get on a big mad speech about how social media should fucking step, because how many times do I have to keep saying it? Many times does everybody have to keep saying it? I mean, this has been going on a couple of years now. Really bad it's gotten.
Well, it's become so commonplace; it's almost accepted. That's the problem. It's really become like a greenhouse effect for this kind of mentality. It's allowed to breed and to cross pollinate, and I don't think enough has been done to really address that. How people can sort of gang up en masse to vilify individuals. It's not on. It's like, how many times do we need to keep pointing out? And there's no function when reporting these kind of things.
No,
where this group or this thing is set up to take on individuals. Now, I think if you have to en masse coagulate into a morass of people, like for example with a certain Twitter handle with 2,000 odd members, to target single individual people for harassment and abuse, there's a problem there. And it's a spinelessness on the people involved, but it's really nothing seems to be done to flag this and to make this culture of cancellation and humiliation stop.
But you see, the Twitter will look out that they're not really breaking the rules, but Twitter.
The rules are worse shit if it doesn't apply. Look, they seem to pick and choose. That's the problem.
A group like that's clearly set up, and if Twitter should get someone to look at the bio, for example, right, and then go through the tweets to see if this account is staying true to what the account. That's what it should be. There should be something like that. If an account is set up and doesn't kind of stay to what they're supposed to be doing, and they're doing the actual opposite, and actually picking on innocent people.
And if you can't have freedom of speech for your platform, then if you're going to have these things in place to stop certain types of behavior, then you have to go all out. It's one or nothing, right? If we agree to the terms of Twitter, and I've pulled this to Twitter many times, when even in their own terms and conditions, it has on the top about what constitutes abuse and harassment. And so many times it's so clear that people are doing exactly what they're saying doesn't, that goes under that umbrella. And yet they say, oh, we found that there's nothing wrong. And it's like, well, that's completely counter to what your terms and conditions say. It's very, very selective. I don't want that. If you're going to have a system where people who are guilty of this kind of thing, then surely it should be for everybody. If they're going to use certain keywords, for example, I'd like to add toxic to that. If people can start calling people toxic or bigot, or if you're gonna agree to the terms and services and accept that Twitter is not a place for free speech, even though it says it is, then certain keywords we know that they use against certain, let's say, conservative voices on Twitter. Well, why not use the same thing, therefore, against the other side? Balance it out. At least if you're going to have a tyranny, balance it out across the board, right? But it doesn't. It's very selective. And I think that's the main problem. We accept Twitter is the way it is in terms of it's not a platform for free speech. Fine. Draw a line under that. Then make sure it's a tyranny for everybody on that platform. Let's bring out all the guns and target everybody who abuses the system, regardless of left, right, center, or whatever. If you're going to go after an individual, especially if it's a cancel mob, that kind of shit has to stop. That is a cultural phenomenon now.
Yeah,
right? It is like a witch hunt, and this kind of, I know it's human behavior. I know that's humans always seem to stumble towards tyranny because it feels safer because you're surrounded by, in inverted commas, like-minded people. But it really is just a justification for aggression and hatred. And if you're othering other people to the point where you're saying, look at these people or this person, aren't they evil? And then a whole bunch of swarm of people go after that person. Doesn't matter if what they said was right or wrong, whatever. It's just the fact that it's like they're going to use the word dog whistle. Well, that's a dog whistle, right? It's just, look at this person over here, go for it. Listen, I'm all about, if people say something dumb on Twitter, you can comment on it. I think being abusive or targeting people incessantly over and over and over again is a different matter. And there needs to be some kind of safeguard for people from being subjected to this level of abuse and harassment. Surely it doesn't take much. A single admin can see what's going on. Like William Shatner has been targeted for harassment by activists now for several months, right? And it's still going on. And man's 90, right? Okay, he's a celebrity, whatever, public figure, open to this kind of thing. I think there's a fine line between targeting someone like that, because you can.
There's a fine line between outright abuse and being critical, and they're just being outright abusive. But listen, we could go on about this all night. I'm on doggy duty, so I have to take Ted down. And I left him for over 2 hours the last time when I was supposed to bring him down. So I'm going to have to bring him down. My arm is killing me as well. I'm about to take these painkillers, which I hate them. But listen, I want to thank everybody in the chat for joining us tonight. And as I said earlier on, every guest that popped on. And Lee, listen, thanks for doing what you did tonight in the private chat as usual. So again, I'm just apologizing because, as I said, you shouldn't have to deal with that. But I've thrown it up on Twitter there. It's actually disgusting. Disgusting. And we know who it is. I actually do know who it is now. But because it's the same person, isn't it? It's always the same.
Yeah.
So, and you know what they don't realize is they can get the period. I hope they actually do when they do eventually, because they will bring in more social media laws. I hope there is one that if a child is on social media and is trolling, that the parents get some sort of reprimand, because they're supposed to be responsible for their kids.
I don't think you should be allowed on Twitter unless you're over 25.
No, that's a bit much now.
I know. I think that's a perfectly
I
reasonable.
think that any social media app like this should be only open, especially Twitter, because it is kind of geared towards the adults. Let's be honest. I think 18, maybe 16 is probably
Have a separate one for under
Twitter
18.
Kids, like YouTube do. Have a Twitter Kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, they won't take. See, they wouldn't. Yeah, see, Twitter. There you go. Copyright, trademark, whatever. I came up with that. Twitter Kids. There you go. There's one for you. But in fairness, kids shouldn't be on social media. That's my. Listen, I'm very strict about this anyway, right? Or maybe I'm old-fashioned in this, but I don't believe any kids should be on social media.
Look, for me, it seems to me a place where people go to get radicalized. That in university, but I really think that it's just not. Social media. I mean, like, school is social media, really. I mean, when I was a kid, the school playground was where you did your social media. I just think it's too much of a place where people go and either become bullied or the bullies. And that kind of shit can lead to serious mental health problems. And again, it seems to me that Twitter seems to encourage that behavior from teenage life to adulthood. It's like they never change. It's like they've just fallen into this groove and they can't get out of it. And it's a pattern of behavior that seems to perpetuate. It's almost like a Mandelbrot set. It sort of goes on and on and on and on. I don't know. I mean, if there was a Bill of Rights, an internet Bill of Rights, social media Bill of Rights would be a good start. I think it's been called for a very long time. And I think that should be something that is implemented.
Something needs to be done fast.
Yeah, and a change, needs to happen. I'm not calling for more censorship. I'm not calling for more, rules or regulations or terms and conditions. A simple Bill of Rights that applies to all across the board globally.
Or even if someone does something wrong, even if you want to suspend them for a while, but they have to do some sort of,
community service.
Yeah,
online community service. I don't know.
You're right. I know it's funny to say, but something. Yeah, you have to come up with something, because I can't continue. But listen, I'm gonna have to really go, because head is sitting on me jeans. Believe it or not, I'm warming them up there. I'm in my PJs, so I have to put on clothes. But he's sitting right beside me now, so that means daddy toilet. So I have to bring him to the toilet, and I'm bleeding, freezing already, and I haven't even went downstairs yet. Holy shit, I'm actually shivering here. The hell?
Yeah, I couldn't stop. I went out to the shop one night and started sneezing the following day non-stop, and I'm sort of all right now, so I don't know what that was.
I don't know what it is. Have you noticed you can't keep the heat in yourself anymore? It's like, maybe it's because I'm getting older, but I don't know. I just can't keep the heat anymore. It's like, I'd normally warm myself up and I'd stay warm, but now I get warm and then I'm cold again then in a few minutes time. I don't know.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Yeah, as you get older, it gets worse. You feel the draft more and more and more.
Yeah, well.
Got that to look forward to.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I already feel old, so I'm halfway there. Right, on with the runners. I'll be ready now in a minute, Ted. I have to say goodnight to everybody.
When you get out of breath tying your shoelaces and go, it's a downhill slope from there on.
I'm not telling you that. I can know that I have to go out here now and it's annoying me. I've done the worst thing you could possibly do. I've actually thrown the heater on.
Yeah, I know.
The fan
Yeah,
heater.
my heating bill is a lot more this year than last year, definitely.
It has been a lot colder already.
No snow yet, though.
We've had a bit here.
I haven't had any. I keep seeing people with snowy pictures.
Not enough to stick or anything, so it's been a bit disappointing. But
I hate snow anyway. Well, I mean, I hate walking through it. I hate it, but like when it turns to slush and ice, that's even worse.
Well, that does be funny because that's when most of the accidents happen.
Yeah.
It's funny watching the YouTube videos of people falling over. I know I'm a sadistic
you base person.
I love the one. There's a video on YouTube, right? It was Jordan Snow in America, and they interview these two. This reporter is doing the weather, and she's on the sidewalk, and she sees this couple coming up the road, and they're jogging together. So she stops them to do an interview. Basically, eyes are running in the snow, all the usual thing, you know. And they go, yeah, this is the best time to run and all. You get a great grip on the snow and stuff, right? So literally, they run off to do their run, and the camera pans to look at the couple running away. And the woman goes flat on her arse, literally just up the road, like. And she actually really did hurt her back really bad. But then the journalist turns, shouts, "Danny, all right?" And she's like, yeah. Oh, she must have hurt her back there a little bit. But then they try to run off again. It's funny. I love videos like that. It's happened to me though, so I can laugh at people. Yeah. You know, that's what we're all about. We love seeing them in movies as well. People walking into poles.
Slapstick.
That's it. That's what it's all about. Right, folks. I'm gonna shut up because Cheryl's waiting for the dog to be brought in as well, so I have to bring him down so I can bring him in so she can keep him warm. So I'm gonna say good night. So I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're on the Irish Geek. So join me there. What have we got on the Irish Geek? Actually, I want to start doing the WandaVision review. So I'll see if Cheryl's up for doing WandaVision tomorrow, actually, because we've been watching it, and it's been interesting. Let's just say I think it's interesting. I listen. I won't go too much in because I said I'm going, but I'm not gonna praise it to the Hilton like everybody else has. It's an interesting. It's a decent show, but for some of the critics out there saying that this is outstanding television, it's breakthrough television, and all of this, I don't know.
It's an interesting concept, but I found it. You know, it's only 20 odd minutes long per episode, and it drags. How does it drag? Some of the humor seems to fall flat for me. I mean, I like the theme tune, which lasts almost as long as the show itself. You know.
Yeah, the theme tune is good.
Theme tune is great.
It's not a bad shot. Look, I'm not saying it. I'm not going to sit here and say it's bad. And Leah is right. I did find it dragged in the first few episodes, but it does kind of.
I need to watch some more. I'll tell you, Resident Alien is really good.
Yeah, but
That's
it does gather
really
pace, though, Lee. It is worth watching because it does gather pace, and the last two episodes that we're on were actually pretty good. I have to be honest. They're actually pretty wow. So yeah, right. We're gonna head off. I'm gonna leave you with the channel trailer and then the Tardis Zone Talks little trailer there, because I feel like it because I haven't played them in a while. And I did miss them. So here we go. Good night, folks. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one. Stay safe. And if you are cold, wrap yourselves up nice and warm. Because I can tell you, I can feel it from here. And I'm not even out the door yet. And it feels cold already. Oh, I'm going to be in a bad mood when I come back up now. I hate the cold. I'm going to stand in front of the heater. Right, good night. See you later.
Everyone.
Good night.